cuts as supply challenges persist in the province. Many households and businesses have been desperate for a drop since last month. Premier Panyaza Lesufi says the problem started when a fire at Randwater damaged pipes after an explosion. Deputy Minister of Water and Sanitation, David Mahlobo, has detailed the plans they've put in place to deal with the crisis.
These areas that are getting water, the system is healthy right now. You will shift the water from themselves, you put a restriction of a particular percentage. They are not going to run out of water. Then this system that is not having water in Midrand, your issues of Alex everywhere, it will start to slowly to be in a position to fit in.
President Cyril Ramaphosa will tonight deliver the second State of the Nation address of the 7th administration against the backdrop of an auspicious year for the country's democracy. This year marks 30 years since the Constitution was adopted as law and 50 years since the Soweto uprising. Yesterday, President Cyril Ramaphosa and government ministers marked 36 years since the country's most eminent statesman Nelson Mandela walked free from prison in Paarl. Lindsay Dentlinker reports.
Parliament is hoping this will be the last time it will have to host the State of the Nation address at the City Hall, owing to the destruction caused by a fire in 2022. At a cost of R7 million, the expenditure is significantly less than the more than R12 million spent on last year's event and the false starts in tabling the national budget. Speaker Toko Didiza says in marking the 30th anniversary of the country's supreme law, this year's event is about more than just pomp and ceremony.
This milestone invites both reflection on our democratic journey and a renewed commitment to the constitutional values of dignity, equality, freedom and accountability that continues to guide our work as a democratic legislature.
She says unforeseen construction hitches notwithstanding, Parliament hopes its new chamber will be completed in time for next year's State of the Nation address. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
A defiant Paul O'Sullivan has refused to provide Parliament's ad hoc committee probing police corruption with details of his educational background. The forensic investigator was responding to questions from members of the committee about his background and how he was appointed as an executive at the Airports Company of South Africa. O'Sullivan has also denied allegations that he infiltrated the Independent Police Investigative Directorate. Babalondenza reports.
Forensic investigator Paul O'Sullivan has faced tough questions from MPs who questioned his qualifications and his appointment to strategic positions. This includes his appointment to AXA as the head of aviation security. Julius Malema told O'Sullivan that he didn't meet the requirements for the position before asking him for details about his education.
And you were not qualified to be employed as head of anything at AXA because you didn't possess the necessary qualifications.
O'Sullivan still refused to give details when pushed on which technical he attended.
I'm not prepared to discuss my educational background. I made that clear. No, you're going to have to discuss your educational background because you took our money.
O'Sullivan defended his appointment to AXA, saying he gave the state entity a good return for its money. Babalondenza, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And at least 31 people have died after a powerful cyclone struck Madagascar. Cyclone Gizani made landfall earlier this week, hitting the island's main port, Tuamasina. Madagascar's Disaster Management Office says there was total chaos, reporting that houses collapsed in the impact zone where the bodies were found. Neighborhoods were plunged into darkness as power lines snapped while trees were uprooted and roofs ripped off. Gold is trading at $5,059.02 an ounce. The rand is at 15.87 to the dollar, 21.63 to the pound, 18.83 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $69.65 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N3 South approaching Mudderfontein Road. That's due to roadworks. Please be on the lookout there. While traveling on the N1 North, heading towards the Diepkloof interchange, delay is coming out of the Golden Highway.
And in your sport, Manchester City beat Fulham 3-0 to stay within 3 points of Arsenal. The Nedbank Cup last 16 has 3 all-premiership fixtures, including Sundowns against Galaxy. And the Proteas lucky to have beaten Afghanistan, needing 2 super overs to get the win at the T20 Cricket World Cup.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with scattered showers and thunder showers expected. Johannesburg starting at 19 degrees, peaking at 30. Pretoria 19 as well, reaching a high of 31. Vereeniging also at a low of 19 and a high of 32. The top story in EWN this hour: Gauteng residents will be hit with soft water restrictions, load shifting and water cuts as supply challenges persist in the province.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Calling all the brightest minds in Gauteng. Time to flex your general knowledge smarts in the brain of 702. Enter now on primemediaplus.com. T's and C's apply.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Walking the talk, 6 minutes after 6 o'clock. It's the 12th of February, 2026. Today, of course, is the State of the Nation address. Sona 26 or Sona 2026. Those are the hashtags, no doubt, on social media a little later on. The president will be addressing the nation today, telling us about the plan for the year. A lot of people are going to say, what are you going to do about the water? What are you going to do about the water? The breakdown of infrastructure. What are your expectations? What are your hopes for what the president might say a little later on? Will you believe him? Remember, he told us he'd give us a smart city. He told us there'd be a university in Ekurhuleni. Mateo, you're familiar with Ekurhuleni. You grew up there. Where's the university?
Why am I accounting for
EP.
that? I don't know.
You are the only metro. That's what the president said. He promised us bullet trains. Do you remember the bullet trains? He said there was a 10-year plan to make sure no South African goes hungry. Last year, he actually spoke about the water problem at Sona 25. And he said, we'll fix it. What are your hopes? And even if the president addresses your concerns, will you believe him? Will it happen? Let's talk.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
8 minutes after 6 o'clock on our menu today. We're going to start with the Executive Director of Corruption Watch. Corruption Perceptions Index from Transparency International puts us exactly where we were a year ago at 41 out of 100. If you were writing a test, would you be happy with that mark? 41%, essentially. That's where we were last year. That's where we are today. Yesterday at the Matlanga Commission of Inquiry, we heard it's not uncommon, Muteo, for Ekurhuleni. Shame. Guy's just like, I was just born there. I didn't. Yay! Poor guy, catching strays. But it's not uncommon for metro cops in Ekurhuleni, or police officers, I should rather say, to be drug dealers. Yeah?
There's a whole nother life I know nothing about that's happening there.
I have heard that at some point, the metro officials were using their own vehicles because the city didn't have vehicles for them, or they were private. Guys, you know, sometimes you just get tongue-tied. You don't know where to go. We'll sort of be looking at what corruption has done to this country, to this society. We've invited Mondli Makanya, veteran news editor, columnist and analyst to talk to us about Sona and what to expect. We've also got the chief economist of Standard Bank to talk about the numbers and the economic picture of what Sona might present. That's on our menu today.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
702 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
Indeed, my name is Bongani Bingwa, and as you've already heard in the background, my colleagues, Amoramila, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Bongani. Morning, 702 landers.
Today you don't have your usual dramatic earrings.
Dangling earrings, but I do have earrings on.
Ah, it's just, okay.
They're just sitting on.
Oh, and one of them just fell. You can catch it all, of course, on our YouTube channel. We're live on YouTube at the moment. And what I love about the YouTube thing is the opportunity to watch us whilst you're getting ready at home, and then you can still continue the conversation in the car. You see, we are people with a plan here. I'd love to hear from you. If you're a first-time caller, do let us know. If you're a first-time WhatsApper, do let us know. If you're a long-time listener and somebody who's called the station many times. I also want to hear from you as well. 072 702 1702. And you can call us on 011 883 0702. Mateo Kharipe is also here, and good morning to you.
Morning, Bongs. I hear you fired up about the Sona. Did you do the usual comparing 2025 to 2026?
Funny you should ask. I've got some clips of what the president has told us before. But before we get to any of that, here's my shout out question for you this morning. Our shout out, as always, of course, is a question that gets us into the conversation about what's topical at the moment. What's your definition of the soft life? What's your example of the soft life? I'm not talking, Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk type soft life. Something maybe you've experienced before, or that when you do periodically, you tell yourself, today, today, I'm living the soft life. What would that be for you? Or should I go first?
Go first.
I love hotels. A really good hotel. I'm not big on Airbnbs.
Yeah.
Right? But I love hotel. I want somebody playing the piano when I go to breakfast.
So you love things taken care
of. I want that big buffet, even if I'm not going to have most of it. Right? I want the option, right? I want the anonymity of a hotel. I want to go sit at the poolside and have somebody offer me, a towel or a drink, or that's what I love.
Things
For me,
that are taken care of, yeah.
Make it go away. Right? That's what I love about a hotel. And for me, if I'm in a really good one, it's the soft life. And I've been lucky in my career because there's been a lot of travel. And so 90% of all my hotel stays have been work related. So I've never had to pay. Don't like paying. Amo?
Definitely taking unpaid leave to travel.
Woo.
Yeah.
Because you've got so much money in your savings.
You've got money, and you've got time, and you've got the option to work.
Oh, okay, you win.
No, definitely not.
Can't beat that. I'm clearly not aiming very high, Mateo. Yours?
I'm completely off what you guys are thinking. But for me, it's taking walks, with my kids, but also like the garden service. Because I grew up, that was my responsibility at home.
Yeah.
And the sun would be beating down, and I'd be there probably the whole day trying to manicure the thing. But now I can come back from work and
there's a garden service.
Done. No,
make it go away. You see?
It's done, yeah.
It's the make it go away. So yesterday, you may remember, of course, there were a couple of marches around the water issue. And many people phoned in. We had horrific examples of people who were telling us about their difficulties when it comes to dealing with the water issue. And the Gauteng Premier, this is Panyaza Lesufi, the Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi said the most extraordinary thing yesterday about his difficulties with water. He faces difficulties with water. And here's how he handles those difficulties. Have a listen.
In some instances, I had to go to a certain hotel so that I have to go to my commitments. We also go through the same inconveniences like any other person. There's no special water or a special pipe that is designed to service other people and not service other people. Our families, our relatives, ourselves, our constituencies, they suffer the same pain. We don't have water when communities don't have water. But what we need to do, we've got the responsibility to fix the problem. We are coming to you that the problem is almost fixed.
Did you hear what he said? KG, just play that first bit again. Because you've heard politicians who are out of touch. We heard the MEC of Health the other day saying people choose to sleep on the floor, especially when they're in pain. So if you see them, that's why. It's not because there are no beds. Wow, why wouldn't she say that if this is what her boss says?
In some instances, I had to go to a certain hotel so that I have to go to my commitments.
When he doesn't have water, it's so hard for him. He has to go to a hotel to go take a bath. He suffers just like you, Mateo. right?
That's soft life.
That's so hard for him. He has to go to a hotel. He didn't say in Sandton. Or is it Birchwood? Right? What are your thoughts on that? In the midst of the crisis, think of the 87-year-old Gogo who phoned us yesterday, who says, I have to go and stand in that queue at the tanker for hours, but other people come ahead of me, and I don't even have the strength to carry the container. Think of the businessman who phoned us and says, I have to go up and down, up and down, up and down to go get water from my house so that my factory, my business can continue operating. For 8 months, he said he didn't have water. Think of the voice note we got, I think it was from Foslorus. The guy said, welcome. Welcome. The rest of you, welcome to how we've been living all this time. And then you would think, maybe the Premier got it wrong. The Minister of Water and Sanitation, surely Phemi Majodina, would know what the fix should be. Surely she can accurately diagnose the situation. Have a listen.
Cannot now hear myself and DM Mahlobo commit whether there will be an extra budget that is allocated to Gauteng province to be able to assist the municipalities. The budget vote is on the 25th. What we are going to do as a delegation sent by the president here, we are going to combine our report, but we must not tamsak about the challenges and the amount that is needed. I once said to one of the media briefing, in terms of water infrastructure at a local government sphere, we need nothing less than 400 billion to fix the water infrastructure. And surely we don't have that amount in the fiscus. How do we then work with other people? I just came in now. I'm from mining in Daba.
Huh? Did you understand what she's saying? Just, what does Steve Bannon call it? Flooding the zone.
I just hear somebody shouting as if it's our fault that there's no water.
But it's going to cost 400 billion and they've got a budget and they've got to think about the budget, but the budget can't really cover the... So what are you saying? We haven't come up with a budget yet. We think it's going to cost about 400 billion, but we've got it at local government. And I've been to the mining Indaba and... Huh? But you know how politicians say, often we quote them out of context, right? So she says she went to the mining Indaba. What happened at the mining Indaba? What was she there to do? Have a listen.
I'm from mining Indaba, where I raised issues of water in that mining Indaba to say the mining houses, they are using a lot of water. But when they leave that site in terms of mining, they don't bring back the water and our license. And that leads to illegal mining, which use water. And when they use that water, they don't pay anywhere, and they make communities not to have water. And I've made an appeal to all the mining houses, especially here in Gauteng, to say they must partnership with all our municipalities. And there was a commitment. They said, call us. A month ago, I was in Northwest, where we met with Glencore and other mining houses. We were building or connecting a 37-kilometer water pipeline. They came in at 50%. So that is what we want as South Africa. Let's work smart, but those who are most consumers of water, come and assist government, come and assist your municipalities to be able to deliver water.
Huh? So if you're in Melville or Auckland Park or West Eid or all these areas that have been affected, Midrand, parts of Ekurhuleni, we've heard from people in Rustenburg, we've heard from people in Pretoria. I know George, the town of George, is facing danger. If you're hearing all of that, what does that have to do with why there's no water in your tap? She went to the mining Indaba and the Northwest and the mines and... Huh? She continued.
Also, the user pay policy is very much important. There are a lot of people who are using water in Gauteng, but they don't pay for that water.
Yeah. I mean, you might as well. Right? You might as well. Are we being taken seriously as South Africa. What's your definition of the soft life?
Let's walk the talk.
702.
21 after 6. Mateo Kharipa, you've got your own question?
Yeah, I want to know this morning, have you gone where you thought the grass was greener and it actually worked out?
Yeah.
Where you like, I need to move house or neighborhoods or move jobs, and look, it might not work out. But when you got there, you were like, yo, I'm so glad I did.
Sure. Almost 20 years ago, I left radio to go do television. I think it worked out.
I think it worked out.
I think it did. When I left radio to go do Carte Blanche, I think it worked out. I went to hotels.
When you didn't have water.
That's how I got to go to hotels.
702.
Weather.
Oh, I'm curious about what prompts that question. We'll come to that in a moment. But a partly cloudy day in store is expected for Gauteng. Some scattered showers and thunder showers a little later on. So that might be good news. We haven't had rain for a few days. 30 degrees is your high in Joburg. 31 for Pretoria. 32 for Vereeniging. A partly cloudy day for Cape Town. A maximum of 24 degrees. Your temperature high in Bloemfontein is 30 and it's 29 for Durban.
I go to a hotel. How detached, like everyone else. Fred and Pagris. We don't have leadership.
EWN Traffic.
All right, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by South African Airways. Make your move this Valentine's. Book your romantic getaway at flysaa.com. Amo, who's on their way from a hotel?
People on the M1 South, Bongani, the N1 South, rather, coming out of the city of Tshwane, delays between Brakfontein Interchange and Olifantsfontein Road. And there's also queuing traffic in the city of Tshwane Centurion along the N14 South. In fact, an accident has been reported along this road. Is right after Littleton Road. It's causing delays. Please be on the lookout there. And if you see anything else on the roads, we're still on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Valentine's weekend is almost here, and this is your sign. Make the move. South African Airways has amazing fares to your favorite destinations. Fly to Cape Town from just 1,144 Rand. Durban from 690 Rand. Gqeberha from 655 Rand. And that's just the beginning. Explore even more destinations at flysaa.com. Make the move. Surprise your loved one. Make it a Valentine's weekend to remember. Book now at flysaa.com or contact your nearest travel agency. T's and C's apply.
Start your day with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
All right, 24 minutes after 6 o'clock. We're taking your calls on 011 883 0702. Your voice notes on 072 702 1702. I'm asking you a shout out about the soft life because, of course, the Premier says when he doesn't have water, he goes to a hotel to go take a bath or to go shower. So he understands your plight and your difficulties without water. Are we being led here? Is that your sense? Do you feel that the people who are in charge know what to do, have got real solutions and answers for the difficulties we face, or are they just making it up as they go along? Now, things you need to know at this hour. Well, we are hearing from IPID. This is the Independent Police Investigative Directorate at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry yesterday. Drug peddling is widespread among officials in the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department. They even said yesterday that you find that officers are working in silos. They're not communicating with each other, not because it's a strategy to keep information from each other deliberately, or even if it is, it's to protect drug dealers. It's to mark so you've got a certain drug territory and no other cops may know what happens in your little turf, in your area. If the cops are the drug dealers, what does that tell you? And even when IPID wants these officers investigated, often the excuse for not doing so from the Metro is it's sub judice. How many times have you heard people escaping journalists' questions by saying it's sub judice, as if their answer is going to influence the court processes? It's the get out of jail card that many a politician loves. This is one that I will certainly feel strongly about. The Trump administration has removed the rainbow pride flag from New York's Stonewall Monument. It's the most famous LGBTQ plus monument, and that's where, of course, the Stonewall riots happened in the late 1960s. What used to happen is officers would raid these gay bars and they'd try to extort money from patrons until the drag queens fought back, and there began the LGBTQ plus rights struggle. And so they put up pride flags to mark where it all started, and it's a big tourist attraction. Donald Trump says remove those rainbow flags from that monument. It's a sad one. Adam Gilchrist has the latest coming out of Canada. An 18-year-old carried out a mass shooting in British Columbia, killing 8 people and wounding at least 25 others before taking his own life. Flags have been lowered nationwide as leaders and communities rally around that small town. As I told you, George municipality says it has only about 17 weeks of water left, and they're asking the Western Cape government to declare a drought disaster. And you may remember James Van Der Beek from Dawson's Creek. Did you watch Dawson's Creek, Amo? Wasn't quite your thing, Muteo?
Yeah, on SABC3, I think it was.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All of Ekurhuleni watched it, hey?
Yeah, all over Ekurhuleni without water.
Shame, man. James Van Der Beek has died at the age of 48. This is after a battle with cancer his family have announced. He first revealed his diagnosis in 2024 and, of course, fought the disease with courage, faith, and grace, according to that family statement.
702.
The newspapers.
Sisa Zulu, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Bongani.
Your definition of the soft life?
Ooh. I don't
We've
know.
said hotel.
Yeah.
Muteo says having a garden service because he used to be forced to do the garden.
Oh, that's nice.
Africa Melane said it was cheese.
Really? No, I get it.
And going to a good restaurant.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I don't know, man. Oh, I'd have to think about that. I just can't think of anything right now. But I think having a lot of money, not scrambling in the middle of the month.
That's your definition
do you
of
get
a
what I'm
soft life.
saying?
Yeah.
That if I don't have to call Bongani and say, Bongani, I'm short of 50 rand for transports.
I think somebody's trying to tell the bosses he needs a raise. Hey.
That would be a soft life.
All right, what's grabbing your attention in the papers?
Anyway, Bongani, apart from 702's Walk the Talk, have you walked for other causes or things that you believe
Yes.
in? Yeah.
Fitness.
You've done that.
I walk for fitness. That's a cause I believe in.
I love that. Well, USA Today is running a story that speaks of standing for what you believe in. It's about a band of Buddhist monks who have completed a walk for peace in Washington, D.C. This is in the U.S. They walked more than 3,000 kilometers for 109 days from Texas. And they walked through rain, snow, and severe weather conditions. And they are saying they are bringing awareness of peace, loving kindness and compassion across America and the world, especially during this time and what is happening in the US.
So for context, often Sfisa Zulu works upstairs, so
Yeah.
we're at the bottom. We're on the ground floor. The newsroom is on the first floor. And quite often, just before the 8:30 news bulletin, Sfisa is on his way down, which is why he would have missed that story from Adam Gilchrist yesterday.
Yes.
Who told
But
us about
I
that
thought it
walk.
I thought it was a nice story to reflect on, just to speak about, what you would stand
Okay.
up for.
The front page of the Sowetan, Joburg told to brace for new water restrictions. IMF, global shocks still a risk for South Africa. That's the front page of the Business Day. And the Citizen says, don't fiddle while South Africa is dry. A water expert has a message for the president. Stop giving us wild promises. Fix the problems.
EWN Business.
All right, Mateo wants to know, have you ever crossed over to the dark side? You thought the grass was greener, and it actually was. Changed the jobs, new relationship, moved neighborhoods, new service provider. What prompts that question?
Bongani, South African exporters were thrown a curveball last year as the US slapped heavy tariffs of 30%. That forced local producers to seek out new markets and add more volumes to more affordable markets. And that has paid off for them, at least over the past year. South Africa's agricultural exports climbed to a record high in 2025. Despite shifting trade conditions, exports rose 10% year on year to $15 billion. The momentum continued into the final quarter of the year on higher volumes of various products exports and better commodity prices. Exports were stronger every quarter last year. The latest data for the fourth quarter shows that South Africa's agricultural exports totaled $3.4 billion, up 7% from the same period a year ago. The products that dominated the exports list in the last quarter were mainly table grapes, maize, berries, wine, citrus, apples, and pears, and many other products sent out by our producers. The African continent accounted for the lion's share of South Africa's agricultural exports in the last quarter of 2025 at 53% of the value. As a collective, Asia and the Middle East were the second largest agricultural markets for South Africa, accounting for 17% of total agricultural exports, while the EU also came in third there in terms of an export market. South Africa's agricultural exports to the US at the same time decreased by 11% in the third quarter compared to the same period in 2024.
We'll probably look back on the Trump administration around the world, and we might even be grateful at some point for how he would have changed the way we all do business
the pivot
with each other, because we've all had to realize there's life outside of America. What are your indicators showing you?
The rand at 15 rand 86 against the US dollar, 18 rand 83 against the euro, 21 rand 62 cents against the British pound. Price of gold at $5,056 an ounce, or platinum is at $2,126 an ounce. Brent crude at $69.87 a barrel. I'll have more business after 7.
41 out of 100 is the score we got on corruption. Are we failing? That conversation coming up. In the meantime, Sfiso Zulu, all eyes on Parliament.
That's right, Bongani. Good morning. Law enforcement agencies will be on high alert today to prevent any disruptions to the State of the Nation address in Cape Town. Police spokesperson Atlenda Mate says Net Joints held regular meetings to ensure this event goes smoothly. She says they've drawn experience from other major national events successfully hosted across the country.
All role players have commenced with their respective responsibilities in line with their mandate, with law enforcement agencies having mobilized the necessary resources to enhance police visibility to prevent and combat opportunistic crime before, during and after the address.
Mate says law enforcement agencies have a strict mandate to ensure the operational plan for Sona unfolds as it's supposed to.
We urge those without valid accreditation to avoid the area around the City Hall, as any lawlessness, criminality or behavior that contravenes the law will be dealt with accordingly. No disruptions will be allowed and tolerated by law enforcement.
The long-delayed TRC cases inquiry is set to have the first witness testify this morning. The commission kicked off yesterday with opening addresses. It's been 9 months since President Cyril Ramaphosa established the commission, but it has been riddled with administrative delays and several recusal applications. The TRC cases inquiry is investigating allegations of political interference and deliberate attempts to impede the prosecution of apartheid-era crimes. Khomozo Modise reports.
The first witness to take the stand at the TRC cases inquiry today is Human Settlements Minister Thembi Smelane. Smelane's sister Nokuthula disappeared in 1983 while on a mission for the ANC in Eswatini. While two of the suspects that were charged for Smelane's murder have since died, two security branch police, Willem Kutsia and Anton Pretorius, still stand accused. But the case has been significantly delayed by an application by Kutsia regarding his fitness to stand trial. Over the years, Smelane has taken on several legal battles to force the state to prosecute the alleged perpetrators behind her sister's murder. This was during the tenure of former President Thabo Mbeki and while Bridget Mabandla was Justice Minister. Khomozo Modise, Eyewitness News.
The Special Investigating Unit has welcomed a ruling by the Special Tribunal setting aside a 646 million rand water contract in KwaZulu-Natal. The contract was awarded to engineering company IACOM for emergency upgrades aimed at preventing water shortages in Richards Bay. The tribunal found the contract value was unlawfully inflated from 407 million rand to more than 646 million. It's also ruled the procurement process was unconstitutional and irregular, resulting in losses for the state. SIU spokesperson Kaiser Khanyago says their investigation found that senior officials failed to discharge their legislative responsibilities.
This failure directly contributed to unlawful procurement, irregular expenditure, and the undermining of constitutional procurement principle. The tribunal ordered ACOM to within 30 days provide audited financial statement, invoices, and supporting document relating to the contract, while the SIU must within 60 days determine the profit earned by ACOM and inform the company of the amount to be repaid.
The shooter in the mass killing in Canada murdered their mother and brother during their killing spree in a remote mining town. The police have now identified the killer as an 18-year-old transgender woman. Jessie van Rotsler was born biologically male and dropped out of the targeted high school 4 years ago. 8 people and the attacker were killed in the shooting in a small town in British Columbia yesterday. A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with showers expected. The temperatures are at lows of 19, peaking at highs between 30 and 32.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident in Centurion. It's on the N14 South. It happened right after Littleton Road. It's causing heavy traffic volumes coming out of Euphus Road. Do expect about a 20-minute hold up there while traveling on the N1 South, queuing traffic between the Brakfontein interchange and Olifantsfontein Road.
The top story this hour, law enforcement agencies will be on high alert today to prevent any disruptions to the State of the Nation address.
Okay, truck 7, that has 0 warning lights. Truck 8, it's just been serviced. I guess we're running like a well-oiled machine. Where would I be without My Way's comprehensive cover for my vans and trucks? Plus, cover for my customers' orders with goods and transit insurance. I guess we'll never know.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
Get the advantage this tax year end with Sage. No stress, no scrambling. Just seamless HR and payroll that keeps you ahead of UIF, PAYE, and employment equity. All in one smart cloud solution. With automated compliance, real-time accuracy, and simplified HR and payroll. Give your business the tax year end advantage. That's Sage. Visit tax.sage.co.za today.
For over 30 years, Bid Air Cargo has been keeping South Africa's supply chain moving, giving our economy the dedicated cargo capacity it needs. Whether it's really, really urgent, oversized, or hazardous, when a shipment has to fly, we make it happen. Linking all major airports with reliable freighter services, our promise delivers. Bid Air Cargo. Every kilo counts.
Coming up in the next hour, what's the question? And it's brought to you by Outsurance. 3,000 Rand in cash is up for grabs. Send us an answer based on some curiosity that piqued your interest during the show. You'll win 1,000 Rand for that. So simply WhatsApp us your name and an answer to 072 702 1702. Then someone will ask a question that will lead us to your answer, and they'll win 2,000 Rand. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Yes, good morning, Bongs. Regarding of Sona, some of us will not even listen to him because we all know the national anthem, creating jobs, what. Even myself, I won't listen to him. I don't expect anything because he promised us a lot of things, man. Some of us will not even listen to him. It's not here. I'm in Tembisa.
Bongani, are you surprised? Is anyone in South Africa surprised? Everything is failing. Infrastructure is crumbling. Disinvestment is happening in this country. More and more companies are shutting down. The economy cannot support the amount of people we've got in this country. Then we've got all the illegal foreigners. There's no appetite to fix anything, whether it be crime or address actual issues to stimulate the economy. But yet, the people of South Africa will keep on voting the ANC into power. So you are your own worst enemy.
You know, Bongani, I wish the president can give us feedback of the previous Sona. Can he just account of all the promises he made from the previous Sona? We don't want any more promises, because we can't do promises after promises after promises, but no accountability. At least if the president can give us the feedback from the previous Sona and says that this is what we have done, and this is what we have achieved, and this is what is lacking. So at least if he can give us that, then I'll be happy. We don't want promises anymore. Thank you so much. Sello from Tsakane.
Silla from Tsakane. I think a lot of people will feel that way, because I just reminded you, he promised us a smart city. He told us we'd have these bullet trains. He told us there'd be a university in Ekurhuleni. Cindy's eyes are popping out. These are promises he's made over the years. Every year he has to have a new one to say, this is the latest thing. There was a year he said there would be a 10-year plan after which no South African would ever go hungry again. So every year he comes up with a new promise. But is it all bad? No doubt he'll talk about the fact that we're off the grey list. No doubt he'll talk about the fact that there are high-profile investigations looking at alleged criminality that are underway. He'll definitely mention the successful hosting of the G20 summit. Is it all bad? Let me know.
EWN Sport.
Oh, Cindy Paluta,
Bongani
just once
Bingwa.
again explain, your bulletins are based obviously on the latest sporting happenings or what is about to happen.
What do you want to start with?
I wanted to start with the cricket.
Let's start there. I'm happy to start there.
I mean, just explain, because I missed
Okay.
it.
Oh.
I know.
So to give you
Because it was Afghanistan. I thought, yeah, okay.
So to give you an idea, I'm writing an exam today, and I was on the phone with my. I said to my friend, as soon as I get home, I'll phone you. Don't worry, and we can go through the work together. And I switched on the TV, and I said, I'll phone you. The cricket will end soon. There we were, an hour later. There I was an hour later. So I couldn't tweet fast enough. It was something I personally, and I know because people have the stats, a super over has happened before in cricket. I personally have
Hadn't
never
seen
seen it
Yeah.
myself,
Yeah.
right? I know it did happen in 2024 between India and somebody else, but I personally had never seen it. So what happened was, right,
The scores were tied.
Afghanistan are chasing
okay.
187.
Right.
They need 13 off the last over.
Yeah.
They are 9 wickets
Down.
and we are taking wickets. So it's kind
Yeah.
of, okay, cool. They need a
Not
miracle.
gonna happen. Yeah.
We're the hot favorites here. Kagiso Rabada, in that final over, bowled 2 no balls, a wide, and an uncharacteristic short delivery that got him smashed for 6. Right? And on the very last ball, he bowled a no ball, but then still got a run out. But the run still counts in cricket. So the scores were level at 187. So now we must go to a super over. So we go to a super over,
Yeah.
right? And now they posted 17. We've got to chase 17. We need 7 off the last delivery, right?
Sure.
Tristan Stubbs is batting. He smashes a 6. So now you go, but then we needed 7. So now we tied at 17 all. So now we need a second super over.
So we needed 7 to win.
We needed 18 to win, and we both got 7. We needed 7 to win. Yes,
Yes,
from that
from
last
that
ball
super over,
to get
yeah.
this,
Right.
and from that super over. So Tristan
We tied
Stubbs-
scores.
So we tied scores. So now we go to a second super over. You can't have Lungi Ngidi bowling because he's bowled the first super over. You have to change your bowler. We chose Maharaj, right? We post 21, and then we managed to restrict Afghanistan to 19. That's what
close
happened
as they
yesterday.
get. Gosh.
And here's Ryan Rickleton speaking about it. He, in the original first innings, made 61 from 28.
Gives us a proper wake-up call. You know, things you can't take for granted. Afghanistan's a team that's a serious cricket team. No one ever took them for granted, but it's just the small things when you have opportunities to close down games or when you can't let any team back in. So it is a bit of a wake-up call, I'd like to think, just in trying to have that edge, have that sharpness, and when you get ahead, stay ahead. And a lot of things we can get better at.
I would also like to thank the Proteas because for that full 45 minutes to an hour, my heart rate was over 120. So I actually didn't have to go to gym.
exercise.
I didn't go to gym. I was just burning fat while sitting there watching them. So the next play, New Zealand on Saturday, let's hope that they turn
That's an
things
easier
around
one.
because I don't
Sure.
believe they can't be proud of yesterday. Also yesterday, the West Indies beating England by 30 runs and Australia cruised to a 65-run win over Ireland. So last night in the Premier League, Manchester City kept the pressure on Arsenal, beating Fulham 3-0 with goals from Semenyo, O'Reilly and Holland. City are now 3 points behind Arsenal. Aston Villa got a lucky 1-0 win over Brighton as Hinshelwood scored an own goal. Liverpool beat Sunderland 1-0. Here's captain Van Dijk who scored that goal.
Great win. Hard work on a very, very interesting, difficult pitch. But listen, to come here, to play like we did today, well deserved 3 points. Great game. So we'll take it.
Burnley came from 2 down. They beat Crystal Palace 3-2 last night. They ended Palace's 16-match unbeaten run. Wolves held Nottingham Forest to a goalless draw. As a result, Forest have axed manager Sean Deutsch, who's been in charge since October. Forest are 3 points above the relegation zone. While Tottenham Hotspur also start the search for a new coach. They sacked Thomas Frank yesterday, who in his 38 games in charge won 13, lost 14 and drew 11. And then at home, the Nedbank Cup last 16, the draw done last night, has 3 all-premiership fixtures. Sundowns against Galaxy, Stellenbosch away at Arrows, and Richards Bay will host Amazulu, while Orlando Pirates have been drawn to face Casrick Stars. Kekone will play the University of Pretoria. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
There's much to say about where South Africa is, and even more about where it's going.
On Thursday, 12 February, President Cyril Ramaphosa delivers the State of the Nation address, live from Cape Town City Hall.
702 Cape Talk and Eyewitness News will be there, analyzing every word and bringing you the news as it breaks.
From the build-up to the address to the conversations that follow.
Join Clement Maniatela and Mandy Wiener for live coverage and in-depth analysis from 6 to 10 p.m.
Live on the radio or live stream on the Prime Media Plus app. Sona 2026. Thursday, 12 February.
Live on 702 Cape Talk and EWN.
This Valentine's weekend, Motor Select is giving you 3 days to find the one. That one car that just feels right. The one you can't stop thinking about. The one that comes with up to 70,000 Rand cash back. You've got 3 days, 12 to 14 February. Visit motorselect.co.za or any participating Motor Select dealership to find the one and make it official. T's and C's apply.
Smart Steve from Momentum, hello.
Smart Steve, my daughter just turned 18, right? And now she's got a license and a boyfriend.
You're worried about her safety. With Momentum Safety Alert, she can access help 24/7.
Is that the emergency response version of Curry in a Hurry?
For sure. She can get help at the touch of a button for free.
Free? For all that and all?
Visit momentum.co.za or call 0860 006 784. Momentum Insure, keeping you safe on your journey to success. Momentum Insure is an authorized non-life insurer. T's and C's apply.
The Brainy Kids of the Whiz Quiz.
On 702.
Hi, I'm Bongani. My name is Dimpomo Tsohaitsegefatso. I'm 11 years old and I go to Faranani Primary School. When I grow up, I want to be a top gymnast and I can't wait to play the Whiz Quiz with you.
A top gymnast. Wow. Let's see the moves you can make to win 10,000 Rand.
702.
Coming up at 7:15, the big interview.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. And you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. That crash you were telling us about, Amo?
In Centurion, Bongani, it's really causing heavy delays at this moment. It's on the N14 South coming out of Littleton Road. The delays are as you come out of Weirder Road, about a 30-minute hold up there. Please be on the lookout. You can still use the N1 South if you're heading towards areas like Midrand as well as Tembisa. Otherwise, traveling on the M1 South, we've got delays between the Baklu Interchange and Marlborough Drive. have. There's also queuing traffic on the Makwa North between Boyson's Road and Carr Street. Please be on the lookout there. Peak time delays reported along this route. I'll have more traffic updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
February may be the month of love, but your dentist won't be feeling the love if you're late for an appointment. Well, fortunately, the Outsurance pointsmen are there to ease traffic congestion so you can get to your dentist on time. With the Outsurance pointsmen on the road for the last 20 years, we can all get to where we need to be quickly and safely. With Outsurance, you always get something out. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Hi, this is Carol Shabalala, Hollywood Bet's brand ambassador. It's more fun when it's for fun. Playing responsibly is always a winning strategy. If you or someone you know needs help, call the South African Responsible Gambling toll-free counseling line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
LLB graduates can fast-track their legal career with the Law Society of South Africa's PVT School for Legal Practice. LPC accredited, this 4-month practice-ready course, which is taught by practicing lawyers, can reduce your PVT contract by 12 months for admission. Study by day, after hours, or via distance at campuses nationwide. The first 2026 intake runs from January to April. Applications close 31 October 2025. Apply now at lssalead.org.za. That's lssalead.org.za.
In life's most challenging moments of loss, compassion can be your greatest comfort. You shouldn't have to face the financial burden of losing a loved one by yourself. Rest assured, Clientele's funeral plans pay out cash within 24 hours. You can cover up to 13 family members on one plan, ensuring all your loved ones are taken care of, and 3 children are covered at no additional cost. With Clientele, you're not just buying a plan, you're also buying peace of mind. When the time comes, you will need to make important calls with your 200 Rand airtime you will receive when you claim. Plans offer double accidental death cover, as well as transport, grocery, and unveiling benefits. Apply today. It's easy. There are no medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Who is the whizziest of them all?
It's the Whiz Quiz on 702.
Up next, the conversation, how corrupt are we? Corruption Watch will be telling us about the latest perceptions index that has just come out. That's coming up in a moment or so. In the meantime, let's give some cash away, shall we? Dimpo is 11 years old and wants to be a gymnast a little later on in life. No doubt a fan of Simone Biles. Dimpo?
Hi.
I'm saying no doubt you're a fan of Simone Biles, the famous gymnast. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I would think so. All right, let's play the Whiz Quiz. KG, start the clock. The song from the Jungle Book is called The What Necessities?
Pass.
Bare necessities. What is 25 minus 15?
25 minus 10.
Correct. What color is mixed with red to create purple?
Blue.
Correct. Give the name of the 8th month of the year.
August.
Correct. Spell the word pencil.
PAINFUL.
PENCIL. Pencil. What large mythical creature breathes fire and has wings?
Dragon.
Correct. True or false? The Amazon is the world's largest rainforest.
True.
Correct. Which country has states like... I can't complete the question. Not a bad one, Dimpo. Not a bad one. You walk away with 500 Rand. 5 correct answers.
The Brainy Kids of the Whiz Quiz
On 702.
Current events, developing stories,
Tough questions.
your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.
In the time of 33 percenters, I suppose 41 out of 100 is not a bad score. The 2025 Corruption Perceptions Index from Transparency International puts us at exactly that spot. That's where we were a year ago, below the global average of 42. No doubt, of course, we'll hear from the president about the success of hosting the G20. We're off the grey list. High-profile corruption investigations are underway. Progress is being made. But is it enough? Lebogang Ramafoko is the Executive Director of Corruption Watch and joins us now. I appreciate your time and thank you for talking to us this morning.
Thank you for having me, Bongani.
41 out of 100, as you heard in my introduction. In the time of 30%ers, I suppose that is a kind of pass?
Well, unless if you live in Johannesburg and you live in Melville like I do and you haven't had water for 24 days now, because that is the impact of corruption. Unless you are a patient and you sleep on the floor when you are about to deliver a baby, and you are told by politicians that you actually enjoy sleeping on the floor, that is the impact of corruption. Or you have a murder case that needs to be investigated, but your docket goes missing. So these numbers are numbers, yes, from Transparency International that puts us on a score, but they basically represent a basic failure because we have not paid attention to corruption in our country, and we are even below the global average. So that is the impact of what this number means.
Yesterday, we heard from the IPID Acting National Head of Investigations, who was testifying at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry yesterday, who accused SAPS officers and Ekurhuleni Metro Police on playing a part not only in drug dealing, but also in truck hijackings. When the police officers are the criminals, that's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know. And that is what we are talking about. And that is some of the independent reports that goes into these studies around the Corruption Perceptions Index. It's our ability for accountability. It's our ability for taking action. In fact, although we have been removed from the grey list, where the financial government structures were being tightened, we are showing over and over and over again that while the talk is there that we are going to fight corruption, the political will, the know-how, the putting resources to get the kind of sophisticated analysis, sophisticated forensic investigations do not exist. We are not able to deal with information like we saw with the Zondo Commission that is already out there, where whistleblowers have died or lost their lives. We are not even able to amend the Protected Disclosures Act. There is a bill now that shows very clearly that those that have been fingered for corruption can even apply retaliation by either firing those that report corruption and they, the people who have been the whistleblowers, who have reported corruption, will have to use their own resources, while those they have fingered will remain in a job and will fight those cases using state money. So in a lot of ways, you know, while as a country there are other areas that work, there are so many other indicators where the obvious things we need to do to fight corruption, we are not doing.
What do you expect to hear? What would you like to hear from the president today that says a report like this is something he's taking seriously?
You know, and this is going to sound harsh, I would wish I could mute the president, but wake up tomorrow to action. The president has said so many things. From the time he started and was telling us to Mamina, what is going to change with what the president says? I actually wish we could mute the president and just see action. I would like to know how much money is going to be invested in the NPA to make sure that they are able to recruit the top in the game of not only fighting local corruption, but cross-border corruption and the flow of illicit financial flows. I want to know how many people, including Minister Mkhunu, is he going to remove from his cabinet who have been fingered for corruption. But knowing the president who comes out there charming, who comes out there to take us to La La Land, I'd rather he is mute, because I wonder whether anything he says since he has been in office, particularly on this matter, that proportionately affect the poor and the marginalized, that makes the death of people like Babita and others go in vain, whether there will be action after his words.
Wow, tough words there. Lebogang Ramafoko, the Executive Director of Corruption Watch.
702.
Coming up, the big interview.
What else should we hear from the President? We'll have a chief economist and a political commentator to help us wade through those waters.
This is EWN.
South Africans speak out ahead of the State of the Nation address. We go live to Cape Town for the latest preparations. And Premier Panyaza Lesufi is criticized for seeking relief at a hotel from the water crisis. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Final preparations are in full swing for this year's State of the Nation address. President Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to deliver his 10th Sona at Cape Town City Hall this evening at around 7 p.m. This will mark his second address under the Government of National Unity. Several roads around the City Hall have been closed for the rest of the day. We cross now live to Alpha Ramushwana at the Cape Town City Hall. Alpha, how are Cape Townians feeling this morning ahead of the President's address tonight?
Well, Siso, while it's a momentous day for President Cyril Ramaphosa and his Government of National Unity, of course it remains a normal work day for many Cape Town residents who fills the streets on their way to work. Many of them, including Mteto Mngupane, who runs a car wash in the city, say they have little interest in what the President is expected to say.
Well, my thoughts on Sona, it's very glamorous as far as what is being said and very underwhelming as far as being what's casually delivered, or rather usually delivered, because we've listened to quite a number of Sonas. I mean, it's a generational thing. Think about it.
Did you even know that the State of the Nation address was happening?
Well, I vaguely heard it over the radio, but to be honest with you, I'm generally not that much invested, considering of past disappointments, to say the least, yeah.
Meanwhile, CISO Parliament's technical teams are already on site this morning, setting up cameras both outside and inside the Cape Town City Hall ahead of the President's address. Law enforcement officers have also been deployed around the City Hall, with nearly every intersection in the area secured by police. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, reporting live from the Cape Town City Hall.
The MK party, on the other hand, has dismissed the Government of National Unity as a credible formation to tackle the country's problems. Its parliamentary caucus says it's not expecting President Ramaphosa to deliver a State of the Nation address tonight that accurately reflects the situation on the ground. The MK's interim parliamentary leader, Des van Rooyen, has slammed the past 18 months of the GNU, contending that it has no credible plan to uplift millions of poverty-stricken citizens. Lindsay Dentlinga reports.
Thrust into the position of the main opposition after the formation of the Government of National Unity, the MK party says the coalition is only serving a portion of the population. Interim caucus leader Des van Rooyen says he's not expecting tonight's State of the Nation address to deliver more than platitudes and promises.
South Africa doesn't have a plan to develop itself. What we hear is just the rhetorics and repetition of promises, not talking to any plan, not talking to any performance targets, but just talking for the sake of.
Van Rooyen adds that GNU partners are, in his view, too far apart ideologically to aggressively tackle the country's problems.
You have to rock the boat. The status quo must change. The economy can't be in the hands of the few, and then you expect that you'll address the plight of the masses.
Van Rooyen alleges that government ministers are using their portfolios to profile themselves and attract attention for their political parties rather than working as a cohesive unit. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News. Parliament.
Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi is under fire for comments he made about the impact of water disruptions on politicians. He told a briefing last night that he's had to shower at a hotel because of the supply problems. Residents who've had to line up to get water from tankers or even pay for bottled water have described his comments as tone deaf. Some parts of Gauteng have been without water for more than a week, which has led to people picketing in places like Melville.
I mean, in some instances, I had to go to a certain hotel so that I have to go to my commitments. We also go through the same inconveniences like any other person. There's no special water or a special pipe that is designed to service other people and not service other people. Our families, our relatives, ourselves, our constituencies, they suffer the same pain.
Lesufi says the water challenges are close to being fixed.
Those that have the expertise, the talent, the skill to solve this problem have updated us today that if we move water from one area to another, communities will start to see water until the entire system is stabilized.
And drone strikes in Sudan's southern Kordofan region have killed 2 children and injured 12 others. A United Nations warehouse filled with supplies to help people living through famine has also been damaged. The Kordofan region, where deadly drone strikes have intensified, is currently the fiercest battlefield in the war raging since April 2023 between Sudan's regular army and the Paramilitary Rapid Support Forces. Yesterday's attack has been blamed on the RSF. Gold is trading at $5,059.02 an ounce. The rand is at 15.87 to the dollar, 21.63 to the pound, 18.83 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $69.65 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got a report of an accident in Sandton along Greyston Drive and Benmore Road. It's causing heavy traffic volumes. Please be on the lookout there and try to avoid if you can. While traveling on the N1 South, some delays approaching Winnie Mandela Drive as you come out of Rivonia Road.
And in your sport, Manchester City now 3 points behind Arsenal after last night's 3-0 win. Also victory for Villa, Liverpool and Burnley, while Nottingham Forest have axed manager Sean Deutsch after a goalless game with Wolves. The Nedbank Cup last 16 has 3 all-premiership fixtures, including Sundowns against Galaxy, and the Proteas show support for fast bowler Kagiso Rabada.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with scattered showers and thunder showers expected. Johannesburg starting at 19 degrees, peaking at 30. Pretoria 19 as well, and a high of 31. Vereeniging 19 and 32. The top story in EWN this hour. Final preparations are in full swing for this year's State of the Nation address.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. Calling all the brightest minds in Gauteng. Time to flex your general knowledge smarts in the brain of 702. Enter now on PrimeMediaPlus.com. T's and C's apply.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
As final preparations continue for tonight's State of the Nation address, what did you make of the comment made just before we went to the news by the Executive Director of Corruption Watch, Lebogang Ramafoko, who says, I wish I could just mute him. I wish I could just mute him, wake up tomorrow, and things are being done. Because he's going to promise and promise and promise and promise and promise. And then what will we get? Do you remember in 2020 when he said this during that year's State of the Nation address?
We have decided to establish a new university of science and innovation in Ekurhuleni. Now, Ekurhuleni is the only metro in our country that does not have a university. They will have their own university now.
Did you hear how he waited? There was a long pause because he was waiting for applause and then it doesn't come. That was 2020. The year before that, in 2019, he said he's giving himself 10 years and there'll be no more poverty, no more South Africans going hungry. Let's remind you.
Within the next 10 years, we will make progress in tackling poverty, inequality, and unemployment, where no person in South Africa go hungry. Yes, when no one amongst us, as we look at all our people, will be a person who goes hungry.
That was 2019. You think in 3 years, that's all the time is left now, we'll do it? Okay, maybe to be fair, other things got in the way. There was COVID, there was lockdown, there was the electricity challenge, and now we have ostensibly a new one, water, right? But he did speak about water last year, Amo. Do you remember? When he said this about water?
Experiencing more and more frequent water shortages as a result of failing water infrastructure. It is impossible to live without water, as we all know, and it is impossible for the economy to grow without water. We are therefore taking a series of decisive actions to resolve the water crisis, to enable our people to get water where they live, whether in townships or in the rural areas. We are investing heavily in expanding our water resources. Wherever one goes in our country, we often hear our citizens raising the issue of water continuously. So we are raising this issue to a much higher level. And like we did with electricity, I know and I am hopeful that we will resolve the water crisis that we have.
Did we? Did we? Did you hear it at the top of the hour in Eyewitness News? And I played this clip about an hour or so ago. And they've just played it now, Sfiso Zulu, in the bulletin. The Premier yesterday, because following the protests and all the things we told you about in the morning and all the people that were phoning in, there was the Minister of Water and Sanitation, the Deputy Minister, the Premier, the Mayor, all out in full force, trying to address concerns around water in Gauteng. And then the Premier says, but he can understand. Because he also, when there's no water, he doesn't have water too. He suffers in the same way you do. He suffers so much. And when he doesn't have water, he goes to a hotel to take a bath. That's how tough his life is.
Morning, Bongani, Aubrey and Phosphorus. Bongani, please, man, just tell Panyaza to give us that certain hotel so we can just go there, we take a shower. And Bongani, wasn't it Panyaza who was having this idea of a mobile shower? People are dirty in Joburg, the hobos, there'll be a shower where you can just go and shower yourself and carry on with your whatsoever. Where's those mobile showers? Thank you, Bongani. But the address for that hotel, please.
I just listened to the clip now. Like, how can the Premier think those things are the same? Those two scenarios are the same. I don't have the option to go to the hotel to go bath. I mean, I don't even afford a gym membership. I could go bath there or shower there, whatever. Like, seriously. No, man. The audacity, the gall. Like, no, man. No, man. No. This is Nemis on the road.
Good morning, Bongani. Mpo here from Botiatland. You know, when Panyaza said that, I froze. And I said to my wife, did he really have to say that? Yeah, no. And there's no spinning on this. I don't know how is he going to try defend what he said. This is really a soft life indeed.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Things you need to know at this hour. If you've been watching proceedings in Parliament where MPs have been questioning witnesses as part of that ad hoc committee investigation into alleged criminality, spare a thought for the witnesses you have seen under pressure, because yesterday in the United States, Congress is having hearings on the Epstein matter. And it was the turn of the Attorney General Pam Bondi appearing before the House Judiciary Committee. And at some point, she got into such a sharply worded confrontation with those members of Congress who were asking her questions. I want you to listen to this exchange between the Attorney General in the US. This is their top prosecutor, their NDPP, if you will, speaking to Representative Jamie Raskin over her Department of Justice's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files.
How many of Epstein's co-conspirators have you indicted? How many perpetrators are you even investigating?
First, you showed it. I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No,
Your
you're going to answer
theatrics
the
are
question the way I asked it.
You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch. Not on our time. No way. And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, oh, I did tell you because we saw what you did in the Senate.
You're a lawyer, not even a lawyer.
You thought that our MPs were having a tough time. I may have misspoken when I say she's the equivalent of their National Director of Public Prosecutions. It's more likely the Minister of Justice. Have a thought for the girls at Wordsworth High School in Benoni, allegedly humiliated by their principal, who forced girls who had come to school wearing pants and who said that was not in line with the school's uniform rules, and that has sparked outrage from parents. Policing for today's Sona is expected to be more than the 1.26 million rand it cost last year to make sure all proceedings will go smoothly. It's also the birthday of Charles Darwin, born on this day in 1809, as well as Abraham Lincoln. Did you know they were not only born on the same day, they were born in the same year? So Charles Darwin and Abraham Lincoln were age mates. The former US president, of course, most famous for the Gettysburg Address and for starting the American Civil War.
702. Up next.
The Big Interview.
EWN.
16 after 7. Let's just catch up with the roads. Amo, delays in the Benmore area.
That's correct, Bongani. A major accident has been reported along this route. It's right on Benmore Road at West and Grayston Street. It's causing heavy delays, so please be on the lookout and try to avoid. We still have queuing traffic as well on the M1 South. This is between Marlborough Drive and Corlett Drive, while traveling on the N1 North. Peak time delays between Malibongwe Drive and Rivonia Road. There's also slow-moving traffic in Paulsoff along Witkoppen Road, approaching Rivonia Road exit. I'll have more traffic updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. 702.
The Big Interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
17 after 7. This evening, the red carpet is obviously going to be rolled out at Cape Town City Hall. The brass bands will play, the motorcades will glide through Adderley Street, and you will see the politicians who shower in hotels dressed in their finest. But what is it you expect to hear from the president? That's the question we've been asking many of our guests throughout the week. I'm pleased to tell you that Mondli Makhanya, the veteran editor, columnist, journalist, co-host of This Is Politics podcast and many other things, joins us to help us unpack what we might hear from the president. Thank you for your time and welcome to 702 Breakfast.
Good morning and good morning to all the listeners.
I just played a few moments ago, Mondli, I don't know if you were listening, clips from various Sona speeches over the years, whether it was the smart cities or the bullet trains or a university in Ekurhuleni. The president has made so many promises over the years. Is it fair to judge him on the many that have been unkept?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely fair. And I would say that, you know, the big challenge, and I think that what he should do, the big challenge is to douse the cynicism around the state of the nation that currently exists. So people kind of like in the conversations, as you say, in the conversations in the build-up to the state of the nation, it's like, oh, he's going to stand there and make yet more promises, and there are so many unkept promises. And the thing is, it has kind of like become a rote thing, kind of like a list of things. We have done this, and we are promising you this new thing. I think what he should do, in order to douse that cynicism around the state of the nation, because it is a very important thing, is basically kind of like just account for what you have done. I mean, like, and just be realistic. But this is what we've done. These are the challenges we faced, and keep to what you have promised before, and kind of like we are working on this. You don't need a new plan. So I think that's where he should be. That's what he should be doing. But you know what? That's you and me and the public. He is a politician. He is the head of he is not only the president of the country. He's the head of a political party, the leading political party in the GNU, and this is election year. So he is going to stand there and make promises because there's material that needs to go into the ANC's election manifesto.
Look, he will, if I can come in there, Mondli, he will point to a number of successes. He'll say, look, we're off the grey list. He will say that there are various processes investigating criminality within law enforcement agencies, as was alleged by General Mkhwanazi. He'll say, look at the Madlanga Commission, look at the Ad Hoc Commission. There is accountability. He will say that he suspended the police minister. He will say that we had a successful hosting of the G20. Those are things that he can tick off as positives. Those are part of the things I expect him to point out to say, look, not everything is all that bad.
And there are concrete things. I mean, like, it's not all doom and gloom. I mean, like, the lights are on. I mean, like, mostly. Load shedding did end. Operation Vulindlela is starting to reap some results. And there are, and like, growth is marginally creeping back, and the inflation rate is being, inflation is being kept under control. So there are good things to say. But unfortunately, it is not the lived experience of South Africans. Yes, load shedding ended, but what happens is that at municipal level, people are still experiencing power outages, which actually kind of like can go on for days. At least load shedding used to be 2 hours, 4 hours a day. People could plan around that. So the lived experience is not that. And then we've seen kind of like over the past few weeks, kind of like the water crisis that's unfolding. So the lived experience of South Africans is not the glossy picture that he will want to paint, even though, yes, there is a good story to tell. And, you know, I mean, like, if there be one concrete thing, I mean, like, if one were to advise him, I think if a concrete promise that he should go there and make is the overhaul of the South African Police Service. Because what we have been watching over the past, 4 to 6 months or so, kind of like the Madlanga Commission and the Ad Hoc Commission, I think it's so demoralized South Africans.
The difficulty, though, there, Mondli, is he can't even fire the police minister, who's so very clearly implicated in all of what we've been hearing in both those processes.
Yes, I mean, like, and what he has done is just hiding behind a procedural thing that, no, I'm waiting for the end of the commission. I mean, a fundamental statement he could make would be exactly that. I think there is enough doubt around Senzo Mchunu, his integrity and credibility, that the president would be seen as decisive. It would be a huge step for him to take. You know, kind of like going after the people that have been targeted now for possible prosecution, possible investigation. That's good. I mean, like, that's like that was a very decisive step.
Yeah.
But I think going right to the top, going to his own ally and saying that I actually took action against a close ally of mine, and who is at the top of what is seen now as the rot in the criminal justice system, would send a huge message.
Here's another question. Part of politics is performative. It's the pageantry. We understand why we must have the brass bands and the military as part of the opening of Parliament or the State of the Nation address. Yet, you mentioned the lived experience of many South Africans. Yet, when we watch our politicians and the pomp and ceremony and the lavish clothes, I mean, we've had reporters stand outside Parliament and shove mics into their faces and say, which designer are you wearing? Isn't that a little disjointed, particularly in the context of now the Gauteng Premier telling us that he goes to hotels to take a shower when he doesn't have water?
No, look, I think we do need the pageantry. I think the State of the Nation pageantry is absolutely important. I think that, I mean, like it's a statement that says, no, we are celebrating this democracy, the opening of Parliament, and so on. Parliament exists, and the moving moment always is when the judges walk in and the head of the judiciary walk in, and everybody stands up for them, kind of like that. We are a constitutional democracy. So I think that pageantry is important. But yes, it does go overboard. I've always been so put off and disgusted by that red carpet parade, kind of like that.
Yeah.
You are doing an Oscars while just down the road in Kailija and Nyanga and Menenberg, there are people starving, and you are boasting about something that we probably spend 100,000 rand, whatever it is, on designer clothes that you will wear for this one day. And I have just thought that's the most tasteless thing.
Yeah.
And it is the people from the majority, the majority party that claims to be the party of the poor. That kind of like they are the ones who actually go all out.
Yeah, it is a little
to show
crass,
off
is
their-
it not?
yeah.
Mondi Makane, appreciate your time. Co-host and veteran editor, talking to us about today's State of the Nation address. We've also invited the chief economist and the head of research for the Standard Bank Group, Gulam Balim. Very good morning to you, and as always, a pleasure to chat to you. You're joining us late into the conversation, so let me get straight into it. From an economic point of view, the president often makes promises. There are some positives in the last year or so in terms of where our economy finds itself. What do you expect to hear from him tonight?
Good morning, Bongani. And you're correct, there were numerous milestones in 2025 that provided much cheer, and no doubt the legacy of that will spill over into 2026 and forthcoming years. However, if the president spends a disproportionate amount of time emphasizing those milestones while at the same time not recognizing that on the street, the lived experience of many South Africans jars with this headline celebration. So in that respect, he is going to have to deliver a very workman-like State of the Nation address. And our sense is that if he focuses on just two things, it could be very meaningful. The one, and you know well, for some time we've argued that the rule of law is foundational. It undergirds everything. And if he draws, for example, out of the cues from the Madlanga Commission and the parliamentary inquiries to show that there is going to be a very meaningful attempt to exorcise criminality in South Africa, I think that will be welcome. And of course, South Africans will monitor him over the ensuing months and years. The second thing that I think you should talk about is state incapacity, with emphasis on municipalities and metros. We know as South Africans that municipalities and metros and their actions predict national outcomes. In Gauteng in particular, you've mentioned it, South Africans are aghast at the failure in service delivery, and it's more than just water, sanitation, housing, and of course forthcoming local government elections are going to be punitive for the ANC given its state incapacity failures.
What will the markets and investors be listening out for?
Yeah, the markets tend to look at the headline statements such as what is going to be the prospect for economic growth coming out of policy. They will look for charm offensive with respect to how the president is going to continue to help consolidate, for example, public finances. But broadly speaking, if the president comes across as very boardroom and that jars with what is happening in the streets and the risk of socio-economic strife, then I think the markets will, to some degree, punish the State of the Nation address through the overarching financial system. And by that I mean asset prices. But having said that, there is a little bit of room that the president has to wiggle, and that is because, at least in terms of public finance management, there's a good story to tell. And financial markets tend to look at that. Secondly, economic growth is accelerating, mild this year, but it is accelerating. And if the statement that the president suggests, particularly with regard to, for example, proximity to the private sector in remediating many of South African woes, that too will be soothing. But overarchingly, there's a slow creep of high levels of public service delivery protests. In fact, last year, it was the highest in a decade, say for 2018. And of course, we know that municipalities and metros are increasingly dysfunctional. and coalition governments at the local and city level are dysfunctional and not working.
All right, Chief Economist and Head of Research for Standard Bank Group, Gulam Balim.
EWN Business.
All right, let's talk business news now. Muteo Khwaripe, beer, apparently not everybody's tipple.
Yeah, the younger generation not really into beer, so they'll have their virgin cocktails or anything that
That
seems
must mean
healthier.
I'm a young person.
Of course, of course. Dutch beer giant Heineken says it will let go of about 6,000 of its employees, about 7% of its entire workforce in various units outside of Europe. The beverage maker is targeting gross savings of 500 million euros or 9.5 billion rand as consumer demand for beer falls. Now, Heineken beer volumes fell 2.4% as the Dutch beer brand struggles to move some of its products. The company also forecasts operating profit growth of between 2 and 6% this year compared to 4.4%. In the South African market, though, they're still doing quite well, holding a market share of about 10%, with South African volumes up compared to markets like the US and Europe.
All right, we're going to be obviously looking at indicators in terms of where things are today and what the markets do in response to what the president says later this evening. So tell us, what does it look like now? And maybe let's freeze this moment and compare tomorrow.
All right, 15 Rand 87. What's the time now? 7:31. We'll check again tomorrow's. 15 Rand 87 against the US dollar, 18 Rand 83 against the euro, and at 21 Rand 62 against the British pound. Price of gold at $5,075 an ounce, or platinum is at $2,132. Brent crude at $69.52 a barrel. More business after 8.
This this Eyewitness News is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. You could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Still more unhappiness all around Gauteng. Swiso Zulu.
That's right. Bongani, good morning. Residents in the south of Johannesburg are the latest to be picketing this morning, demanding for water to be restored. People in Omondi, Winchester and Crown Gardens say they have been without supply for almost a week now. Gauteng has been hit by intermittent water supply since last month, with other places living with dry taps. Jabulile Mbata reports.
Johannesburg South residents are singing and chanting over the Xavier Bridge this morning, holding placards. Some of them read broken promises, empty taps, people over profit, and no water and no peace. Community leader Zubir Patel says they have been without a drop of water in these areas for 4 days now.
The streets today because of the current water issues that we've been having. And I say current, I'm using the term loosely because quite frankly this is a every few months issue. You know, every 3 to 4 months is an outage.
The group has not disrupted traffic. Instead, they ask motorists to hoot as they drive past. Jabulile Mbata, Eyewitness News, Xavier Bridge.
The ongoing water crisis has also caught the attention of mining giants at the mining indaba underway in Cape Town. Small and big business are worried that water shortages will drive profits down as operational challenges persist. Nowokayam Dambo reports.
After being hobbled by power outages and high electricity costs, the energy-intensive industry is now concerned about the impact of poor water security on mining operations. According to Deloitte's 2023 Insights on African Mining, 15% of unplanned downtime at some of the country's mines has been linked to water issues. Senior executive at the Minerals Council, Tebelo Chabana.
We want to tell our colleagues from across the continent essentially how we're working with government to solve some of these more intractable, difficult challenges, especially, water in South Africa being one of these scarce resources. How we work together with our government partners to ensure that there's water for the mines, for the communities, for the benefit of all.
In contrast, environmentalists have also raised concerns about mining operations across the country continuing to generate large volumes of contaminated water, with abandoned mines remaining a major source of untreated acid mine drainage. Nobukhanya Mdambo, Eyewitness News, in Cape Town.
And some South Africans say they have little hope that today's State of the Nation address will provide any solutions to the country's problems. President Cyril Ramaphosa is set to deliver his 10th Sona speech this evening in Cape Town, where he will be reflecting on the past year and setting targets for government this year. Tabiso Goba spoke to some residents in Khayelitsha.
Located within a 30-minute drive from the opulent Cape Town CBD is Khayelitsha, where South Africa's triple challenge of poverty, unemployment and inequality is clearly visible. Some residents say they have little faith in today's State of the Nation address changing anything.
I wish Ramaphosa enze something ebonakalayo this time.
I wish Ramaphosa would come up with something tangible this time and not just talk. His speech must be accompanied with action.
We want to see development in our communities and more job opportunities.
I want to see the introduction of some activities that will take people away from drugs and alcohol.
We've listened to quite a number of Sonas, and every time they say this, they say that, they say this, they say that. They promise the sky, the world, the stars, and they completely underdeliver tremendously.
Despite the general pessimism, many of the residents who spoke to EWN say they will be listening when the president makes his Sona speech. Tabiso Goba, Eyewitness News, Khayelitsha.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng today with showers expected. The temperatures are at lows of 19 degrees, peaking at highs between 30 and 32.
Traffic remains heavily backed up on the M1 South between Grayston Drive and Corlett Drive. There's also queuing traffic within the Sandton CBD along Grayston Drive. There's an accident reported right near Benmore and it's causing heavy delays. Please be on the lookout there. Several roads within the area also affected while traveling on the N1 North, queuing traffic between Bearsnodia Drive and Winnie Mandela Drive.
The top story this hour, residents in the south of Johannesburg are picketing this morning, demanding for water to be restored.
You won't believe how much money Outsurance saves 40-year-old Rafiq on his car insurance.
I saved so much money. 889. That's not small change. It's more than 50% that I saved from my previous insurer.
That's an impressive saving on Rafiq's 2017 Nissan Navara 4x4. And after 3 claim-free years, he gets an out bonus. How much money could Outsurance save you? SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Licensed insurer in FSP. TCs and information online.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
I just think everybody always looks at what degree do you have or what have you studied. I mean, back in the day, I know accountants that didn't even study accounting. It was better accountants than accountants that studied accounting. So I think it's what you want to do and what you want to achieve.
It must have been nice back in the day, hey? You can be an accountant, but you didn't study accounting. You can hold an executive position at a national key point without security clearance or a qualification. That's so interesting. How many of you complained about Jacob Zuma? How dare we have a president who only has standard 2? But oh no, there's Paul O'Sullivan now, and let's not care about qualifications. It doesn't matter anymore. What's Alan?
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
Joburg Ballet presents Giselle, the most sublime of all the romantic ballets. This is at the Joburg Theatre, Thursday, 12th February to Sunday, 15 February. So it starts today. Giselle is a heart-rending story of love. It's so powerful it reaches from beyond the grave, and it lays bare a tale of passion, betrayal, and forgiveness with one of the greatest of all the ballerina roles at its core. And on Valentine's, 2 special performances this Saturday at 2 p.m. and at 7 p.m. It's the ideal opportunity to celebrate this romantic ballet with your Valentine. Or, Amo, should that be your Valentine? They're going to go to the State Theatre later this month. So that's the weekend of the 20th to the 22nd of February. You can book your tickets for Giselle at webtickets.co.za.
How would you like to lighten the load when it comes to getting your freight there conveniently and on time? You can with a tag. No scrambling around for cash or a card. Less time wasted. Choose the convenient way. To drive smart, download the Sanral app to link your cards and manage top-up payments for your convenience. For more info, visit sunral.co.za. Tags are the way to go. Sunral, an agency of the Department of Transport.
Aren't you tired of hearing how tough every bucky is? Tough this, tougher that, and being tougherer. But what about a bucky that's actually evolved? confidence when you need it, modern comfort because you deserve it, and next-gen tech that's, well, just smarter. Introducing the Changan Hunter range from only 5,299 Rand per month. Test drive SA's better balanced bakkie today. T's and C's apply.
Changan, driven to evolve.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Good morning, Bongani and team, and the listeners as well. Ben from Pretoria. I've learned a hard lesson, and that is do not listen to what leaders say, look at what they do. If we apply that to every single political party in this country, we will see the terrible hypocrisy and just plain greed for both money and power. So come vote time, it's trying to choose the lesser of two evils, but never listen to what leaders say, look at what they do.
Bongani, this ANC ministers, premiers, they're just so incompetent. It's actually beyond me, to be honest. And all they do is just be reactive, right? If they can just stop looting and fix the infrastructure and stop eating the money and allocating it to their cadres, then we wouldn't be where we are, would we?
Good morning, Bongani. I think the other thing that these people need to do, they must stop calling us our people. We are not their people. I think they are doing all these things that they are doing because they feel like we are their people, their children, or something like that. They must call us the people of South Africa. It is Lyndon here in Kyalami.
The American people. Isn't that how the American politicians say it? The American people. The South African people. Is that how you would prefer? Isn't it sad? Isn't it sad that even when we can tick off things that we are getting right, when we can say, look, load shedding, we've solved that. When we can say we're off the grey list. When we can say we're investigating criminality within law enforcement. Those are things that shouldn't have happened in the first place. The things we get right are wrongs we shouldn't have had happen in the first place.
702.
What's the question?
What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance, a chance for you to win up to 3,000 Rand. First, 1,000 Rand for the answer, then 2,000 for the question. SMS out to 45142 now. You could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask Outsurance for 500 Rand. So today's answer comes from Ronnie. Ronnie, please give us today's answer.
The answer is iPad.
iPad. Ronnie, 1,000 Rand is coming your way. All thanks to Outsurance and 702. Thank you, mate. Ronnie says the answer is iPad. What's the question? Call us if you know on 011 883 0702.
EWN Sport.
All right, it's getting really, really tight in the English Premiership, Cindy Paluta, is it not?
It is, absolutely. Because now Manchester City are only 3 points behind the leaders, Arsenal, and the Gunners are playing Brentford tonight. City beat Fulham 3-0 last night with goals from Semenyo, O'Reilly and Holland. Aston Villa lucky as Hinshelwood scored an own goal in their 1-0 win over Brighton. They stay third. Liverpool beat Sunderland 1-0, Captain Van Dijk with the goal. Burnley came from 2 down. They beat Crystal Palace 3-2, ending Palace's 16-match unbeaten run. And Wolves held Nottingham Forest to a goalless draw. As a result, Forest have axed manager Sean Deutsch, who's been in charge since October. Forest's 3 points above the relegation zone. Here's Deutsch.
Yeah, well, I think it's been building for a while here. You know, the media side of it, they've been drumming it all up, and that's part and parcel of the job. You know, Nottingham Forest last season was such a super positive story. There's bound to be a payoff, you know, payback from the press. I mean, I've been in it a long time. You know, they don't let you just keep going. You know, so it's kind of making a story, and we're trying to quell that story and bring calmness to it. And it's been very difficult because if you don't get results, then obviously the noise changes and becomes, you know, more negative.
Tottenham Hotspur also looking for a new coach. Thomas Frank was sacked in his 38 games in charge. He won 13, lost 14 and drew 11. The Nedbank Cup last 16 has 3 all-premiership fixtures. Sundowns against Galaxy, Stellenbosch away at Arrows and Richards Bay host Amazulu, while Orlando Pirates have been drawn to face Kasrick Stars. Skekone against the University of Pretoria, the dates and venues. are still to be announced. Unbelievable match at the T20 World Cup yesterday where the Proteas needed 2 super overs to beat Afghanistan. Proteas were just trying to defend 13 in the final over of the match when Kagiso Rabada bowled 2 no-balls, a wide and a short ball that flew for 6, forcing the super over. He wasn't asked to bowl the super overs. Ryan Rickleton says they'll help him bounce back.
No, KG will give him a bit of time, but we'll get our arms around him. We'll probably get a couple of drinks down him later, and he's one of us through thick and thin, so he's always going to be there.
Proteas, yeah?
Oh, and I was going to say, do you want to hear a very funny one?
About the Proteas?
The World Cup,
Okay.
The T20 World Cup. So one of the big Trump things, right, is anti-immigration. Let's keep people out, especially from such and such countries.
Yeah.
So yesterday he posted about hearing that, the US team is playing in the Cricket World Cup. Good luck to them. So people have been pointing out that the vast majority of the US cricket team comes from the very countries
that
whose people he doesn't want.
Yeah. Proteas next face New Zealand on Saturday. Also yesterday, the West Indies beat England by 30 runs. Australia cruising to a 65-run win over Ireland. Today's 3 games. The first one is underway. Sri Lanka have been sent into bat by Oman. After this, Italy against Nepal, and the late game, India playing Namibia. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
7:45 on the button. Let's catch up with the roads. It's been another busy morning. Delays everywhere, including Edenvale. Amo?
That's correct, Bongani. A major accident scene has been reported on the R24 West. It's right near Edenvale Road. It's causing heavy traffic volumes as you come out of Barbara Road. So please be patient if you're traveling along this route and approach with care. We also have got delays on the N12 West approaching the R24 merge. If you were traveling in Alexandra, some delays on the N3 North approaching Marlborough Drive. There's also queuing traffic reported in Sandton, Benmore, along Benmore Road and Grayston Drive. A major accident seen there. As a result, several roads within this area heavily backed up. We've got delays along Sandton Drive as well as South Road, even Marlborough Drive. So if you are traveling within the Sandton CBD this morning, please be patient. And then that accident we spoke about earlier in the city of Tshwane Centurion on the N14 South is still there and it's causing heavy traffic volumes just as you approach the Littleton Road turn-off. Delays coming out of Weirder Road. Please be on the lookout there and approach with care or use the N1 South as an alternative. We'll have more traffic updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. 702.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Artsurance. Please tell me, what's the question? If the answer is iPad, let's go to Bongani. With a name like that, you should know the question. Bongani, what's the question?
The question, morning, Bongs. The question is at the Madlanga Commission, who is the person who was at Madlanga Commission. That is Robert McBride.
No, Bongani. I'm so sorry. Even with a name like that, somebody can get it wrong, right? Let's try Andisile. Andisile, what's the question?
Which organization mentioned in Madlanga Commission that the Ekurhuleni Metro Police were working in silence and were assisting drug cartels?
Yeah, hey? Did you hear that moment, Andisile?
Yes,
it was a shocker.
I did,
it was an absolute shocker. They're working in silos. It's as if these officers have their own little turfs and they don't want their colleagues to know what's going on because each is working with the criminal syndicates, whether it's truck hijacking or even drug peddling. So often you hear about big drug seizures at the airport. What do you think happens sometimes to those drugs? And Disile, 2,000 Rand is coming your way, all thanks to Artsurance and 702. That is indeed the question we heard yesterday from IPID Acting National Head of Investigations, Wan Tuso Ki Ifelagai, testifying at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. This is what he had to say.
We have the issue of drugs, the proliferation of drugs there. It's drug peddling. It's something that it's a challenge in such a way that it's a business. The police are involved. The EMPD is involved in those kind of things. They operate in such a way that they are in silos. This silo is responsible for making sure that where drugs are concerned, it's our terrain. And those that are dealing with drugs, with trucks that carries consignment of goods, is their terrain. It's don't touch. And some that are dealing with this taxi-related issues. You don't have a permit. It's our terrain. You can't come here. And it's those kind of information, and hence the interest in that municipality.
So when we are told, come forward with the information, we'll investigate. How do you? Where would you begin?
It's so disheartening.
Right? Because even if you report it and some officer tries to do something about it, he's told, don't touch. I'm in charge of the truck jackings. Don't touch. I'm in charge of the taxis and the registration and the transport issues. Don't touch. I'm in charge of the drugs and other illicit goods. So they've already identified who deals with what area. And the cartels know we've got a truck jacking guy. We've got a drugs guy. Where would you even begin? What a joke, my darling. Now this February, don't just celebrate love. You could be celebrating some great car insurance savings with Outsurance. 27-year-old Lynn saves a mind-blowing 636 Rand on her 2025 Haval Jolion. Why don't you get a quote now and see if Outsurance can't save you money? You can ask for 500 Rand if they don't, or 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free with the same insurer for 3 years. SMS out to 45142. So that's out to 45142. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
Hey guys, this is Robert Marawa, Hollywood Bet's brand ambassador. Playing responsibly is part of the winning strategy. Make smart choices and continue to score. If you or someone that you know needs help, call the South African Responsible Gambling Toll-Free Counseling Line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
When choosing a medical aid, look carefully at the benefits. Like the benefit of cover that does more than just pay a claim. It pays you for living healthier. With the Personal Health Fund from Discovery Health Medical Scheme. The benefit of checkups, dental visits, and healthy choices, earning you up to 20,000 Rand on top of your medical savings account for day-to-day healthcare. Just another benefit that makes Discovery Health Medical Scheme for your health like no other. Speak to your financial advisor or visit discovery.co.za to get a quote. Discovery Health Medical Scheme is a registered medical scheme.
Get the advantage this tax year end with Sage. No stress, no scrambling. Just seamless HR and payroll that keeps you ahead of UIF, PAYE, and employment equity, all in one smart cloud solution. With automated compliance, real-time accuracy, and simplified HR and payroll. Give your business the tax year-end advantage. That's Sage. Visit tax.sage.co.za today.
Planning an event takes months of preparation, countless moving parts, and careful coordination. But even with the best planning, not everything is in your control. An accident, an injury, property damage, and suddenly you could be held legally responsible. And that's where Auto & General Events Liability Insurance comes in. Auto & General Events Liability Insurance protects businesses against legal action arising from third-party claims, covering unplanned costs such as medical expenses, legal fees, financial losses linked to event-related incidents. The policy covers a wide range of events, including festivals, sports gatherings, weddings, exhibitions, and social clubs. It complies with the Sports and Recreational Events Act, which requires events and activities to have liability insurance in place. Flexible cover limits are available from 1 million Rand up to 100 million Rand for once-off events or multiple events throughout the year. Visit autogen.co.za to get events liability insurance today. Auto & General, never not there. Auto & General is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP.
702.
702. What's gone viral?
with Kabazela.
Let's catch up now with the world of viral content. Kabazela.
Good morning to you, Bella.
Happy birthday, baby. My Nunu.
My Nunu, my baby. So this clip that's gone viral it's got mixed views. Some people saying, the parents can embarrass you so badly when you are in your formative years in front of your peers and your classmates or your friends. And then others are saying, well, this is so special because some kids don't have parents who do this for them. So what happened is it was this young girl's birthday and she's sitting in her classroom and the mom has a wonderful cake and she then walks into the class full of all the other children and it's lit and she starts singing happy birthday and I love you, my baby, and you'll recognize the song. So let's take a listen to the song with the mother walking into the classroom.
You are my hero, oh baby. You are my superstar. Lakhali baby girl, happy birthday, Sithando kunjani? Ngiyaphila nami. Today, my lovely daughter, my first pain, my joy, miracle in welcoming you to the earth. The first person who made me a mom, who taught me unconditional love and changed my whole world to be full of joy and laughter.
My first pain.
So I mean, beautiful words. She says there to the girl, but she's crying in her chair. The young child, she's crying. Not only she's crying because she's overwhelmed or she's embarrassed or she's
really moved. Yeah,
she is moved, right? But you look at all the other kids' faces in the class, and I couldn't really make out what they were thinking.
Look, to be fair, Kabazela, these are young kids.
Yeah,
they're not cynical yet. But try that with a 16-year-old.
Like us.
She will not talk to you. She'll be your last pain.
Proper teen, eh?
A teen will be your last pain, hey?
Murder when you get home, I tell you that. But I suppose there's two things here. Some people are saying that their schools don't allow parents onto the premises to come and bring any cakes or cupcakes or whatever it may be. The child has to bring the stuff in themselves. But then let's go to the issue of embarrassment as young kids and parents. There may be parents who possibly go out of their way to embarrass their children, and they think it's funny and they have a laugh about it. And then there's ourselves when we were young, and we were like, "Oh, this is so embarrassing. Why are you doing that?" Can you remember an incident when you were a youngster and you thought to yourself, "Oh, my goodness, why are you doing that?"
I can tell you for free.
So embarrassing.
I can tell you for free as a parent, sometimes you don't, and I've had to learn to be conscious of it because you want to tell the stories of, their childhood, maybe to their friends or to other people, what you think was a cute moment that doesn't always perhaps, give the best reflection of who they are today. And I've had to learn that not all of those stories are cute to tell. Tell us about when your parent embarrassed you, perhaps without intending to, but you look back and you just cringe and your toes are still curling. That's what's gone viral with Kabazela.
702. Feedback
with Rupfiwa Kone.
Rupfiwa Kone, do you guys have water where you are, or did you wake up from a hotel this morning?
Oh my goodness, I did not wake up. I don't have such
you've got
privileges.
water.
Yes, I
Okay,
do have water.
You didn't go to a hotel.
I still have water at the moment.
Okay.
I must just be grateful.
But the hotels are on
And I didn't want to
standby.
say that out loud. I don't know why you're even asking me that. Shame with what people are going through. I don't want to say
Can
that.
you believe it?
I don't want to say it. However, Bongani, I do have a little bit of feedback on the water crisis in Johannesburg. And unfortunately, the crisis will still persist for quite some time. The Deep South and Commando systems are under pressure. Several reservoirs, including Alexandra Park, Berea, Crown Gardens, are critically low, causing low pressures or no water in affected areas. Scheduled water throttling started from last night at 6 p.m. and it continues through to today and will further impact multiple neighborhoods
Yeah.
while interventions and alternative supplies are being implemented.
So that's the statement that they've released, yeah?
Yes. So
Did
unfortunately,
they give hotels where people can go shower?
unfortunately not. And
No list
and
of
also
hotels
bear
you
in
can
mind
go
those
to?
hotels are not going to let you shower in the hotels for free. So you will be coughing out a little bit of money. It's not for free. It's not for free, guys, at all. Sorry about that. And we do have a voice note from Sam to Panyaza Lesotho. Let's take a listen to what he's saying.
Hi, Bongos. Oh, this is CM here. Please, I'm looking for Panyaza's numbers. If you can send them to me, I want my refund. So I drove this morning from Midrand to an hotel in Santon, not far from you. I booked the hotel to get shower, only to find out that there's no water. There's no water, but he said that he must explain to me, please. I want my refund, Mr. Panyaza. Aye, this Sufi. Aye, yeah.
Look, in fairness, the Premier has issued a statement on the book face. He says, and I quote from it, "My sincerest apology, no harm intended." And I think this would have been yesterday because the statement says, earlier yesterday, addressing water challenges in the province, the Premier acknowledges that his statement, in which he made reference to a hotel, may have been interpreted in a manner that suggested the impact of water challenges differs on one's position in society. This was never his intention. Well, unless all of us can go to a hotel, this apology means nothing. Of course, that's what he meant. The impact is different depending on your position. Because unless all of us can go to a hotel and say, hey, I'm here to shower, right? Unless all of us have the money to pay that hotel, like he presumably does, of course that's what he meant.
This is EWN.
Ramaphosa is expected to focus on water challenges during his address tonight, and Lesotho apologizes for seeking relief at a hotel from the water crisis. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. The ongoing water crisis in several parts of the country is expected to take center stage during President Cyril Ramaphosa's State of the Nation address. Ramaphosa will deliver his second Sona at around 7 p.m. at the Cape Town City Hall, and parts of Johannesburg are experiencing severe water shortages. We cross now live to Alpha Ramushwana in Cape Town, who is following proceedings before the State of the Nation address tonight. Alpha, what has been the response regarding the water crisis ahead of the State of the Nation address tonight?
Well, Siso, with President Cyril Ramaphosa expected to outline the Government of National Unity's priorities for the year, political parties are anticipating that he will address plans to tackle the water shortages in detail. DA National spokesperson Karabo Hahau says it would be inconsiderate for the president to ignore the crisis, especially as some communities are experiencing water outages at the same time as the State of the Nation address.
Help fix water and sanitation infrastructure, which is a massive need for our country. And then ultimately, the last thing that we also want to hear the president speak about is how is he going to strengthen our municipalities.
While CISO government spokesperson William Baloyi says the president will definitely present plans to address the water supply challenges.
As you might be aware, we are having some of the service delivery challenges of water. As I'm speaking to you even today, no lesser people that the Minister of Water is in Johannesburg, together with the Premier, together with the MEC of Infrastructure and the Mayor. As I'm speaking to you, they are inspecting some of the water reservoirs.
While CISO, with members of Cabinet expected to attend the State of the Nation address today, Water and Sanitation Minister Phemima Jotina has been instructed by the President to remain in Johannesburg. She's been tasked with working alongside the city's teams to address the ongoing water cuts in parts of the metro. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, reporting live from the Cape Town City Hall.
Well, at the same time, Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi has apologized for comments he made about the impact of water disruptions on politicians. Lesufi has come under fire for his remarks last night at a press briefing about seeking relief at a hotel from the supply problems.
I mean, in some instances, I had to go to a certain hotel so that I have to go to my commitments. We also go through the same inconveniences like any other person. There's no special water or a special pipe that is designed to service other people and not service other people. Our families, our relatives, ourselves, our constituencies, they suffer the same pain.
In a statement this morning, Lesufi says he sincerely apologizes for any misunderstanding or offense caused by his remarks. He says his comments may have been interpreted in a manner that suggested that the impact of the water challenges is different based on one's position in society, and that was never his intention. Residents who had to line up to get water from tankers or even pay for bottled water have described his comments as tone deaf. Some parts of Gauteng have been without water for more than 2 weeks now, which has led to people picketing in places like Melville. And Lesufi says the water challenges are close to being fixed.
Those that have the expertise, the talent, the skill to solve this problem have updated us today that if we move water from one area to another, communities will start to see water until the entire system is stabilized.
And the Gauteng Education Department has launched an internal investigation into allegations of discrimination against pupils at Wordsworth High School in Benoni. The children were allegedly denied entry at the school and forced to change from pants to skirts. Parents and learners yesterday protested at the school demanding accountability. Jabulile Mbata was there.
The Gauteng Department of Education says it takes the allegations of discrimination very seriously, which is why they have launched an investigation. Spokesperson Steve Mabona says they want to provide support and counseling to the learners who have been humiliated by the ordeal. He says the school has also agreed to amend its code of conduct to allow learners to interchange their uniform and not be confined to pants or dresses.
So the advice was that if there are concessions that need to be, included in that document, it's for parents to suggest that, and it should not be a problem because as a department, we give schools a guiding document.
He has urged the learners to return to classes so they can continue with the academic program. Jabulile Mbata, Eyewitness News.
Gold is trading at $5,071.94 an ounce. The rand is at 15.88 to the dollar, 21.63 to the pound, 18.84 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $69.55 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got some delays on the M1 South. In fact, a stop and go between the Baku interchange and Corlet Drive. There's also queuing traffic in Parkmore. This is along Santon Drive heading towards the Santon CBD. Please be on the lookout there.
And in your sport, Proteas batter Ryan Rickleton says it was the players who determined who would take the side through the 2 super overs to beat Afghanistan. Pressure on for Arsenal tonight as City beat Fulham to close the gap to 3. And Nottingham Forest have axed manager Sean Deutsch after last night's goalless game with Wolves.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with scattered showers and thunder showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 30 and 31 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: the ongoing water crisis in several parts of the country is expected to take center stage during President Cyril Ramaphosa's State of the Nation address tonight.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. Your brain's a well-oiled machine. Now put it to work in the brain of 702. Enter on PrimeMediaPlus.com. T's and C's apply.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
The water crisis is expected to be part of the speech tonight, the State of the Nation address by the President. Part of the difficulty, of course, is I played you a clip from last year's Sona where he again was speaking about the water crisis and saying we'll have it resolved, we'll sort it out. Well, here we are a year later, and it has not. As far as the Premier is concerned, I'm reminded of a certain Luther Vandross song, I Really Didn't Mean It. You remember that one? I told my girl bye-bye, but I really didn't mean it. Remember that one? He goes to shower at hotels when he doesn't have water. But he really didn't mean it.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Do you have it, KG? I really didn't mean it. Look at you. That's it. That's how it starts. But let's move on to more serious things. The US President Donald Trump wishing the American cricket players good luck at the T20 World Cup. Think of these names: Monank Patel, Ali Khan, Harmeet Singh, Mohammad Mohsin, Shayan Jahangir, Shubham Ranjani, Andries Gous, Shadley van Schalkwyk. These are some of the players who are representing the United States of America at the T20 Cricket World Cup. Many of them would have origins in the very countries Trump is trying to keep immigrants out of America from. You see what I mean? We can't make this stuff up. Sammy, you're in Alberton. You want to talk about the Premier and his comments?
Yeah. How's it, Bongs?
Oh, very good, Sammy. Go ahead.
I'm super, man. I just want to find out, how do the Premier feels when he says he can go a bath at the hotel, while an 87-year woman is on the line for a water on the truck, while she can't even carry that container of water. That's my question to the Premier. How does he feel when he's breaking that? Let's, for an example, when he's saying they were talking about soft life in the morning. We're talking about soft life in the morning. So how is he breaking about soft life of affording the hotels while others can't afford to go and bath at the hotels? How does he feel?
But Sammy, he didn't mean it. He may have been interpreted to mean it, but he didn't mean it. That's what he says now. He didn't mean it, Sammy.
But that's a soft life, folks. Come on, man. You don't have to mention that as a Premier on the radio.
No, I think he'll regret saying that. I think he will regret saying that.
Good morning, Lester. This is Cynthia. Now we must all go and stand and queue up at all the hotels around Gauteng to have a freshen up session. How does it work? Do we pay hotel fees? It is so unthinking of Panyaza Lesufi, but it's normal. We can expect that from these politicians, from Panyaza Lesufi to Fikile Mbalula and Pemi Majodina. Political grandstandings, election year. There are so many great ideas that come into the radio station, like using engineers from the universities to help if there's a shortage of that with the infrastructure. It is just too exhausting. I can't listen anymore. I'm actually not going to be listening to news for a very long time.
Good morning, Bengal 70 ladies. Hey, life of the privileges, right? Did you really have to say that? Is it for free? Can you also join him there by the hotel to do the things? Because people with options are so lucky in South Africa, right? I had to laugh. Thanks, guys, for a great show. Shadi, Kenton Park.
I really didn't mean it. He didn't mean it. He didn't mean it. We may have misinterpreted him, but he really didn't mean it.
Let's talk.
We're listening.
How's it, Bongani? Regarding the parents embarrassing their children on things like birthdays and so forth, I'm a parent, and I think that this is an unfortunate reality us as parents need to acknowledge. The child's birthday isn't about you. Don't make it about you. Keep it about them, and try and keep them in mind with everything you do. That's just my opinion. I'm not totally against doing stuff or going out your way to do stuff for them. Just keep them in mind. It's about them.
It will be a last pay. Top tier, Bongani. Top tier.
Yo, Bongani, hi, Shemina, my son, will not even allow me to get out of the car when I drop him at school. when I drop him at school. He will not. He doesn't want me to even get out. I don't know. Guys, help. It's pressure.
We're talking from what's gone viral about parents who embarrass their kids, even if perhaps they don't intend to. And I was saying earlier that I've learned that even the cute stories you tell about your kids perhaps aren't as cute to them, especially in front of their friends. One of those voice notes suggesting it's their birthday, not yours. And then I'm reminded of the Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Who was Sheldon's friend?
Leonard.
The one who dated Penny. Remember when Leonard's mom said, "But of course it's about me. I did all the work. You just showed up."
He just showed up.
EWN Traffic.
14 after 8, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Amo?
Well, Bongani, we do have a couple of accidents causing delays this morning. If you're traveling in Germiston, the N3 North towards the Geldenes interchange, delays there due to an accident. There's another one that's been reported on the N12 West. This is just as we approach the Kamara Street turnoff in Pre-Sona. And then if you are traveling on the R21 North towards the city of Tshwane, please be on the lookout for roadworks that are taking place along the R21 North right near Olifantsfontein Road, causing heavy delays there. Please use the N1 North instead through Midrand to try and avoid these roadworks. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a parent and a nervous but excited kid practicing her lines to put on a show-stopping performance at the school play. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's a future superstar on the move. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
16 minutes after 8 o'clock. You'll know, of course, if you're a regular listener to this show, we are huge supporters of the arts. And today we want to tell you about a fantastic new exhibition that's opening this evening at Constitution Hill. It's one that seeks to ask some really big questions about where we find ourselves as a country, about our history, about our present and where we are going. Questions of land, questions of memory, questions of leadership and what it really means to belong. It's an exhibition that looks back at issues of dispossession, of migration, but also asks questions, as I say, about what it means to be an ethical leader today. All of those pertinent, of course, based on what we are hearing about and from our leaders. Sitlamorago Mashilo is the multidisciplinary artist behind the exhibition and joins us now in studio. A very good morning to you and welcome to 702 Breakfast.
Good morning, thank you.
I'm just going to ask you to come a little closer to the microphone. Now, forgive me, I'm a Xhosa speaker, and although I tried to practice the name of the exhibition, I thought, no, I'm not going to butcher it. So I'm going to let you say, what is it called?
The title of the show is called Mudishi wa go botega, which is a Sepedi term that means a reliable shepherd or a good shepherd. And it was kind of inspired from a song by Ntate Vusi Mahlasela called Tonkana, which he kind of laments the passing of this young shepherd. Yeah.
This young shepherd. And that's what ethical leadership is all about, is it not? Being a good steward, being a good shepherd. What are you trying to tell us about our society through that choice?
Obviously in reflection of the kind of society we exist in today, and the history that we have of like good steward, people that have stewarded us into like the kind of environment that we exist in today. Even at a micro level, when you think of a familial kind of environment, these leaders that perhaps today there's an absence of, and in many families there's this absence of leadership, and in society this absence of like good stewards in and amongst us, and I think it's just a reflection on those kind of issues and the void that it kind of leaves in our spaces.
That's what the world needs now, is it not? Yeah. You've chosen Constitution Hill, not your traditional gallery, if I can say. Why that choice?
I I think it's always good to have to drive these kind of conversations because in a public space, and I think it's a fitting space considering that part of this dialogue needs public engagement and obviously the law is part of that, and I think what a fitting place for to premise these kind of conversations at a place where we also discuss our laws as a country. Yeah.
I like the fact that you are unapologetic in your use of Sepedi, not only in terms of the language, but its idioms to carry your message across. And why is language central to how we remember, to the conversations that we must have?
Yeah, I think as South Africans, we've kind of been almost detached with our own history and our own identity. And, it's been called tribalism in some instances. So for me, but this is the sitting bed of who we are. And this is what we have to celebrate as South Africans, that the multiple different identities that we come from. And I think so much exists in our language that can solve a lot of the problems that we have today because of modernization. Yeah.
Tell me about land and dispossession as one of the themes of your exhibition.
Coming from rural Limpopo as well, and my grandparents also having dealt the consequence of forced removals. I think land is still so pivotal to African people in this country, and the lack of is evident in urban spaces or when we're trying to urbanize our own spaces, that we're fighting literally for inches of pieces of land, and I mean, I exist leisurely on weekends, walking in nature, and this is where I draw a lot of inspiration from. And you can just kind of sense that the lack of space and to just develop our own ideas or just to exist is stifling. And yeah, so for me, land, also considering the South African history with land, is still so vital for our communities.
Contemporary art, if somebody hasn't engaged with contemporary art before, what will your exhibition give them as an experience?
I mean, yes, contemporary art is sometimes a bit of a hard thing to digest, but I mean, I try and always use everyday kind of objects and things that people can resonate with, because I understand that, as a creative, sometimes you kind of develop ideas that are so far removed from the reality of everyday people. And for me, I've always tried to work and develop my practice around things that people are able to kind of identify with very easily. So I hope that's what they pick up when they come see the show.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's hope people will come through. It's tonight, and it's happening at Constitution Hill, the women's jail particularly. If you are interested and you want information, you can also contact Emma, that's EMMA, Emma, at narrativepr.co.za. So Emma at narrativepr.co.za. It's happening at Constitution Hill this evening. If you do have time, do pop in and see this incredible exhibition. And of course, your work has been displayed in Europe, it's been in Asia, it's traveled around the world. And so what a treat to be able to see it this evening at Constitution Hill. Sitla Morahu, Mashilo, appreciate your time with us here on 702 Breakfast.
Thank you so much for having me.
702, The World View
with Adam Gilchrist.
Let's catch up now with news from elsewhere in the world. Adam, we're used to talking about school shootings, particularly in the US. Of course, we've now seen one in Canada. That country is in mourning.
Yeah, the other side of the border has really hit home. Vancouver is only just the other side of the border, albeit this shooting happened up the road in a tiny little place, Tumbler Ridge. This is a place with one high school, and that's where a lot of the shooting happened. And we also now know that the suspect who took their own life in the course of this is 18-year-old Jesse Van Rootselaar, who was born male but identified as a female and indeed was transitioning, that she killed 6 people at the school, but also the teenager's mum and stepbrother only aged 11. They were also found dead at a home nearby. The motive isn't yet clear, although it is known that Van Rootselaar had some mental health issues and the home had been visited many times in the past. It's not thought that she had actually been in the town recently, and certainly nowhere near the school recently. It is shocking. The details don't help, and the Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney absolutely has talked about how the whole country is coming together on this, because whilst it's a wilderness country, Canada does not have the same gun ownership, has quite strict gun laws compared to the United States, and this has really hit them right through the heart.
I noted that he issued a statement, did the Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, talking about world leaders who had called him to offer condolences, and he mentioned France, he mentioned the UK. The glaring omission, of course, was the name of the US President Donald Trump, who has been meeting with the Israeli Prime Minister, Adam.
I guess you could argue, yeah, Donald Trump's been busy, but man, not so busy that he can't go on Truth Social. The 2 things that they were meant to be talking about, number one, the ongoing Israeli attacks in Gaza, the ceasefire not being a done deal. That doesn't seem to have figured at all. But number 2, the negotiations to intensify curbing Iran's nuclear weapons program. That absolutely has been on the agenda. We know both Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu have talked about that, about putting more pressure on Iran, about stopping support for proxy groups like Hamas and Hezbollah, which is something that both leaders have talked about before. This is also the 6th trip to the United States by the Israeli Prime Minister. He must have some frequent flyer miles. When he arrives at the White House, I imagine they all know his needs, and yeah, we've put you in the guest suite, or maybe he doesn't stay there, but anyway, yeah, we've put your Evian water at the side there. He'll have a whole list of demands, I'm sure. They are not exactly the coziest of buddies, but the fact is that the US-Israel relationship is still a very important one. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been there 6 times since Donald Trump became president a second time. I mean, it's only just over a year. 6 visits, wow.
Now, Adam, how many times have you watched a politician get in trouble, partly for the original offense, but then for an attempt to explain it away or to apologize?
Have we all been there, if not necessarily live on TV, digging a hole because you try to explain it away? And no, when I say that, I mean that. So in this case, Sture Holm Lagrade, he is a Norwegian Winter Olympian. He had just won the 20-kilometer he got the bronze in the 20-kilometer biathlon at the Winter Olympics. And then he appeared on telly talking about how it had been the worst week of his life because his girlfriend ended their relationship after he admitted his infidelity. He'd admitted his infidelity in a previous live TV interview. Lagrade's ex-girlfriend has now responded, writing anonymously in a Norwegian newspaper. You would probably try to keep your name out of things. She says she did not choose to be put in this position. It's hard to forgive, even after a declaration of love in front of the whole world. And with a rather chilly voice through the newspaper, he's aware of my feelings about this. I don't know about you, Bongs. Those marriage proposals you see on big screens and live microphones, they might work often. It does seem a lot of times people are very happy and say yes. But guilty admissions of being a love cheat doesn't work quite so well, does it?
Yeah, I mean, look, ultimately, as you say, he won the bronze, so he didn't even win the gold. There's so many issues to raise. Possibly that confession overshadowed his teammates' gold medal win.
Yes.
And certainly he doesn't seem to have known his ex-partner well enough to know this is exactly the kind of thing she would not like for him to do. So, no, there will be no engagement there, Adam. That's it for this morning's Worldview.
EWN Business.
28 after 8, our final business update for the morning. Let's talk Capitec. Muteo, that always seems to be a good story.
Yeah, Capitec is expecting yet another massive surge in profits for the 2026 financial year. In a trading statement for the year ended in February, the group says it expects earnings to increase by over 20%. Having made headline earnings of 13.7 billion rand last year, it says the group's headline earnings for the financial year 2026 would be in the range roughly of 16.5 to 17.2 billion rand. Last month, Capitec made history by breaching the 500 billion rand mark in market valuation, becoming the fastest South African company to achieve the milestone. The lender now serves some 24 million customers.
Goodness me. And it seems I'm at 2,000. Don't like a lot of beer.
Living healthier, sobriety, Dutch beer giant Heineken says it will let go of 6,000 people in its various units outside of Europe. The beverage maker is targeting gross savings of 500 million euros or 9.5 billion rand as consumer demand for beer falls in the market. Heineken beer volumes fell by 2.4% as the Dutch beer brand struggles to move some of its products. The brewer, which also makes brands such as Amstel, is battling with a pullback in beer consumption in critical markets, including the US and Europe. In South Africa, though, its market share is still quite good. Beer volumes there also quite solid, as South Africa, of course, love their beer.
There's a thing about these young people, the Gen Zs and the like. They don't even like smoking, Mutheo.
No.
Apparently pink lungs are back in fashion.
Wow.
It's a good thing.
It is a good thing. That's why you find companies like the cigarette makers battling to sell them the cigarettes. But looking at the markets now, the rand at 15 rand 88 against the US dollar, 18 rand 84 against the euro, and 21 rand 63 cents against the British pound. Price of gold at $5,068 an ounce, while platinum is down 1% at $2,117. Brent crude at $69.59 a barrel. That's your morning business. Stephen Grotes with more this afternoon.
Coming up, of course, in this next half an hour, the brain of 702. One of the things, Sfiso Zulu, that I think is really, really interesting is EWN, of course, got to chat to the president ahead of tonight's Sona. What did he say?
That's right, Bongani. Good morning. Well, the president said that the real state of the nation is a balance of optimism and struggle. And of course, as you've mentioned, he said this during the interview with EWN and Cape Talk in Nelson Mandela's prison house yesterday, where he admitted that his Sona speech may be done, but the country's hard slog is far from over. The president's visit to the Drakenstein Correctional Facility coincided with the 36th anniversary of Nelson Mandela's release from prison. Natalie Malchas was there.
President Cyril Ramaphosa describes the tour of the prison house where former statesman Nelson Mandela was kept in the months leading up to his release as poignant, and standing in the space on the eve of another State of the Nation address is not lost on him.
The past few years, 10 years or so, have been very difficult, and our people have gone through great challenges and great difficulties. So we need to reflect on all that, but we also need to reflect on what the future portends, because this moment gives us an opportunity to look back and to look at the present and look forward.
The president says the roadmap for government in 2026 will reflect hits and misses.
It's undisputed. Many people do say that we're turning the corner. We've turned the corner and things are beginning to look a lot better. But we should not be so optimistic, because there are still huge problems that we have to deal with.
Rested and relaxed, Ramaphosa will address the nation from the City Hall at 7 tonight.
I want to be ready to deliver the speech. The speech is done, dusted.
Natalie Malchas, Eyewitness News, Drakenstein.
With a local government election looming, the DA says it wants the president to take a hard line against dysfunctional municipalities. The party's chief whip, George Mikalakis, believes accounting officers should be held personally liable for wasteful expenditure. With Ramaphosa due to deliver the State of the Nation address, Mikalakis says his party will not be giving the Government of National Unity a free pass just because it forms part of that coalition. Lindsay Dentlinker reports.
DA Chief Whip George Mikalakis says despite the green shoots the country has started to show under a Government of National Unity, there's still much work that needs to be done, particularly at local government level. He says his party has not taken its foot off the pedal in pointing out where government is failing the people. Mikalaka says it's unacceptable that a major metropolis like Johannesburg is facing a water crisis.
It has economic repercussions for the country. We can't say we win on A, B, C and D on the economy, but municipalities are failing to such an extent that all the good work that gets done within the GNU is then compromised by local municipalities that simply just fail to get the basics right.
He says municipalities must be compelled to ring-fence revenue generated from the sale of water and electricity to ensure the money is used only for the provision of these services. Mikalaka says his party will also continue to push for policing powers to be devolved to municipal level to bolster the fight against crime. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And the US and Mexico have seized several tons of cocaine from a ship in a coordinated operation in the Pacific Ocean. This unusual joint action comes despite tensions between the two countries. In a statement, the Mexican Navy says about 188 packages containing several tons of cocaine were seized from the vessel off Clarion Island and multiple people were arrested. Trump has threatened to slap additional tariffs on Mexico to pressure the country into beefing up drug raids and cartel arrests. A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng today with scattered showers and thunder showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 30 and 31 degrees.
And in the traffic in Germiston, we've got an accident on the N3 North right after the Elands interchange is causing delays. There's also queuing traffic reported in Tembisa along the R21 North approaching Olifantsfontein Road, and that's due to roadworks.
The top story this hour, President Cyril Ramaphosa says the real state of the nation is a balance of optimism and struggle.
When it comes to protecting your workforce, trust the workwear brand that has been protecting workers for over 150 years, Sweetall. Sweetall has overalls and uniform solutions for every industry, so your team is safe, comfortable, and ready to tackle any challenge. Visit our Boksburg showroom, shop A1 Atlas Road, Westwood, Boksburg, or go to sweetall.com today. Sweetall, we never let you down. Superior protective workwear since 1871.
Are you ready to let go of your ride in the new year? We Buy Cars makes it easy and even enjoyable to part ways with your vehicle. Simply complete their form on webuycars.co.za. They'll handle the rest. Looking to upgrade your car? With over 12,000 vehicles for sale, you're certainly spoilt for choice. Visit webuycars.co.za today.
The Checkers Extravaganza is now on. Save extra on new deals every week. Like Kellogg's All-Bran Flakes, 1 kg for $74.99. Listerine Premium Mouthwash, 500 mils for $79.99. And Nescafe Classic Caffeinated Instant Coffee, 200 or 230 grams. Any two for 199 Rand. Valid until 15 February 2026. Only at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Bongani, when we were growing up, we were told that you must never say an adult person is lying. But the president has been lying ever since he ascended the presidency. And even today, he's going to lie. Yes, where are the bullet trains? Where's the university in Ekurhuleni? People are going hungry. He said he'll create jobs. And then on the other hand, he said, no, government cannot create jobs. Anyone will believe what the president is going to say today. They need to be checked mentally. Thank you very much. This is Taru, Wako Deep Roof.
Hi, Bongani. Morning. Ralph from a sunny Johannesburg. Woke up this morning, live in an area called Bosmont with zero water in the taps. Like not a single drop. I think they need to stop all these stupid terms like load shedding, water, whatever fancy terminology they're coming up with, and just say, we've messed up, there's no water in the taps, and this is how we will fix it. I think all the excuses, all the stupid terminology that is used needs to come to an end. Just say that we stuffed up the city, and let's fix it. And I hope and I pray that when the local elections come around later this year, that people will not vote for the pathetic excuses we have serving us in our local metros.
Yeah, what do they call it now? Water throttling. Right? You're throttling water. I mean, typically you would throttle somebody's neck. Right? So because the water is coming out bit by bit by bit, if you're lucky, they're calling it water throttling.
EWN Sport.
Cindy, before we get into the sport, I thought you might want an update. Remember the, was it Norwegian? The guy who cheated on his girlfriend. Adam Gilchrist has just given us an update on that biathlete. His girlfriend has come out to say, if I would have forgiven you for the cheating, I'm certainly not going to forgive you for the confession. The public confession, she says. Keep me out of the spotlight.
Yeah,
right?
because, I mean, for her, now her whole life is obviously everybody knows who she is in the village.
But also, you're the guy he cheated on.
Yeah.
Right? Because often that can be framed as if there was something deficient with you. That's why he did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, people who don't mind being in the spotlight are in the T20 World Cup.
Well, I mean, whether they do or don't, we don't know. But live on the go from the T20 Cricket World Cup, 3 games today. And at the moment, Sri Lanka were sent into bat by Oman. They're 132 for 2 after 13 overs. After this, Italy against Nepal. And the later game today, India playing Namibia. Yesterday, the Proteas were tested to the absolute limit by Afghanistan, needing 2 super overs. It was Brevis, Miller and Stubbs who were put forward in the super overs to bat. Ryan Rickleton, who had made 68, and De Kock, who had made 59, were not considered for the super over. Ryan Rickleton explains.
It's generally the discussion between, the death hitters, Dave and Aiden. Quinny and I and Aiden, we weren't options, I suppose. But I mean, that's why you got guys like Miller and Stubbs, guys that can finish games, that can hit those low full tosses for 6. And that last shot of Stubbo to hit that low full toss for 6 to take us to the second over proves exactly why, they're worth their money. It's incredibly difficult. But the discussion was always our big hitters, Brevis, Stubbs, Miller, were always going to be the 3.
Proteas next face New Zealand on Saturday. Also yesterday, the West Indies beating England by 30 runs. Australia beating Ireland by 65. Pressure's on for Arsenal tonight to beat Brentford. The Gunners are only 3 points ahead of Man City now after City beat Fulham 3-0. Aston Villa stay third after a 1-0 win over Brighton. Henshelwood with an own goal there that rescued Villa. Liverpool beat Sunderland 1-0. Burnley coming from 2 down to beat Crystal Palace 3-2. Nottingham Forest have sacked manager Sean Deutsch after their goalless game with Wolves. Forest are 3 points above the relegation zone. Here's Deutsch.
Yeah, well, I think it's been building for a while here. The media side of it, they've been drumming it all up, and that's part and parcel of the job. Nottingham Forest last season was such a super positive story. There's bound to be a payoff, payback from the press. I mean, I've been in it a long time. They don't let you just keep going. So it's kind of making a story, and we're trying to quell that story and been calmness to it. And it's been very difficult because if you don't get results, then obviously the noise changes and becomes, more negative.
Tottenham Hotspur also looking for a new coach. They sacked Thomas Frank yesterday, and the Nedbank Cup last 16 draw was done last night. There will be 3 all-premiership clashes. Sundowns got drawn to face TS Galaxy. Stellenbosch will travel to Arrows, and Richards Bay will host AmaZulu, while Orlando Pirates escaping that. They'll meet Kazrick Stars. Kekone were drawn to face University of Pretoria. The dates and venues for the last 16 are still to be announced. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sports.
EWN.
19 minutes before 9 o'clock. Let's wrap up the morning's traffic. Amo?
Well, Bongani, we do have delays heading towards the city of Tshwane on the R21 North. The roadworks are causing these delays approaching Olifantsfontein Road. There's also queuing traffic on the N3 North due to that major accident seen right after the Yelons turn off, causing delays. While heading towards Melrose, do expect delays on the M1 South between the Buccleuch interchange and Corlett Drive. There's also some issues being reported within the Sandton CBD. This is along South Road, Rivonia Road, as well as Graceland Drive due to peak time delays. More updates at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You may not know this, but that genius, Albert Einstein, he never wore socks. Which proves that even the smartest people aren't always smart. But you can shop like an absolute genius at DecoFern Furniture with unbeatable deals on office chairs, desks, and much more. Plus up to 50% off end-of-range items. Work smarter, study smarter, and definitely shop smarter at DecoFern Furniture right now, in-store or at decofernsa.co.za.
Let's hear from Dr. Amand, owner of Monument Dental, why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance.
It was one call and I was covered immediately. We are very happy with the premium we're paying. I wish I did it sooner.
For dentistries, general medical practices, and all other businesses, get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Hi, this is Teko Modise, Hollywood Bet's brand ambassador. Be a winner who knows when it's time for a timeout and play responsibly. If you or someone you know needs help, call the South African Responsible Gambling toll-free counseling line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No person under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
The Checkers Extravaganza is now on. Save extra on new deals every week. Like Parliamentary Everfresh Long Life Milk, a 1 litre 6-pack for $94.99. Clover Cheddar Gouda or Tussis Cheese, 800 grams, any two for R199. And Nescafe Classic Instant Coffee, 200 grams, two for R199. Valid until 15 February 2026. Only at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
Coming up
on the Clement Manyatela Show
on 702.
Coming up on the Clement Manyatela Show, of course, live from Cape Town, just outside Parliament at the moment. Clement, you're going to have a long day, my friend. Clement? Hello, Clement.
Hey, Bongani, good morning.
Batu.
Oh, my goodness. Askisi.
Busy with gossip.
I'm busy gossiping with Zintle here about the show.
I said you're going to have a long day. You're already outside Parliament, is it now, in Cape Town, ahead of tonight's State of the Nation address? You're going to have a long day.
It's going to be a long day, as always, when we do the State of the Nation address. I'm already outside the City Hall, which is where we're going to be doing the show. And then later on, we're back around 6 p.m. to do a special show from here up until it's done at 10 or 11 p.m. But on the Clement Manyatela show today, we are going to look at some of the things that the president is likely to touch on, Bongani. I mean, he's addressing the nation at the backdrop of shocking evidence that's come out of the Madlanga Commission, but also distress from some residents who have been struggling with water. And I heard the clips you played earlier reminding us of the promises and commitments the president has made in as far as fixing our water infrastructure. So where are we with that? Also, it's election year, so expect some electioneering as well, a laundry list of achievements. So we're going to look at what listeners are expecting from the president's address. We'll touch on what Panyaza Lesofie had to say yesterday as well. And then at 10 o'clock...
Hold on.
Yeah?
You woke up at a hotel today?
I took a shower in a hotel. So
Did you tell them you don't have water?
Yeah, hey. I'm hoping he's going to come on air. I've texted him. I know he's flying to Cape Town this morning, but as soon as he lands, I hope to bring him on the radio, because I saw his office released a statement last night apologizing and trying to clarify that statement. So that's what's going to happen on the open line. 10 o'clock, I'm going to speak to the Speaker of Parliament, Togo Didiza. In fact, I've just concluded a pre-record conversation with her where we address the expectations tonight, but also the contentious issues around how she has dealt with security concerns raised by witnesses appearing at the ad hoc committee. We'll hear from Labour and business and some big and smaller parties as well, and some analysts as we look at what the hits and misses have been since last year's Sona by the president.
She, hey?
Yeah, everything.
And how she.
You're keen to
Is she a jolly good fellow? Clement Manyatela on your radio between 9 and 12. And as he says, a special broadcast this evening, of course, focusing on that State of the Nation address that will be delivered by the president. I think Mandy Wiener will be part of that special broadcast. So you stay listening to 702 as we get information, and certainly throughout the day and later tonight, we'll give you everything you need to know that comes from Parliament.
When the brightest brains collide in the biggest general knowledge quiz in Gauteng, it's time for the Brain of 702.
It's the Brain of 702. Time to put your brilliance on display to prove your mental might for a chance to win a share of 130,000 Rand in cash. That's what's in the kitty in total. For each round, of course, 1,500 Rand and 1,500 Rand if you win at the end of the day. So we've got 2 rounds now and on 702 Drive with John Pullman, the brain of 702, your brain, our stage. Are you ready? Step in to the spotlight. The winner, as I say, at the end of today will be crowned the brain of the day. They'll keep playing possibly through to the rest of the week. And if they're still standing on Friday afternoon, 10,000 Rand is up for grabs as the weekly brain of 702. And then, of course, the chance to win the grand prize of 30,000 Rand should they be declared the brain of 702. If you want to participate, simply go to primemediaplus.com and we could be calling you to put you through our qualifiers. Our reigning champion at the moment is Sandra. Sandra in Midrand. We played with you, of course, about 24 hours ago or thereabouts. You're doing a little bit better now than just 6 correct answers, hey?
Yeah, it was 7. But I keep getting sudden death.
How are you feeling? I mean, how much pressure is there, particularly when you play sudden death?
You just hope for the best.
Is all Sandra is going to commit to. You stay on the line. You know how it works. You're up against Modise. And Modise, I know you've played before. You played in 2023, I think it was?
Yes, sir.
What was the biggest lesson you took from that moment?
No, I didn't know the rules. I know them better now.
All right. So, what is your area of strength, do you think?
Just broadly, general knowledge in general.
Okay. So, no particular area. You know it all. You know them all, hey?
No.
Now you know what the politicians feel like, hey? All right, you stay on the line. Both of you, of course, will get as many as 15 questions in 60 seconds, and the contestant who answers the most correct, who gives us the most correct answers, will be the winner. And as Sandra well knows, the scores are equal. We will play sudden death. We'll start, of course, with our reigning champion, Sandra in Midrand. Take a deep breath. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You are ready. KG, start the clock.
3, 2, 1.
Spell the word awkward.
AWKARD.
Forgot the other W, so it's AWKWARD. Complete the saying. Okay. Fine what make fine birds?
Fine what?
Feathers. Which city is the capital of Limpopo?
Polokwane.
Correct. True or false? An object that lets light through is transparent.
True.
Correct. What sport does Gwena Mapaga play for South Africa?
Soccer.
Cricket. Which river flows into the Orange River near Batuli?
False.
Caledon River. Who is the only sister of Britain's King Charles III?
Princess Anne.
Correct. How many lines are there in the poem known as a limerick?
4.
5. Ooh, not your strongest. Not your strongest round, Sandra. 3 correct answers is what you got.
Ooh.
But you never know. You never know. People have gone to sudden death even with 3 correct answers. Stay on the line. Modise, 3 or better, my friend, to stay in the game.
Yes.
All right, you take a deep breath. And here we go. KG, start the clock.
3, 2, 1.
Spell the word fortune.
FORTUNE.
Correct. Complete the saying. Forbidden what is the sweetest?
Fruit.
Correct. Which city is the capital of Mpumalanga?
It's Nelspruit in Mbombela.
Correct. True or false? An object that stops light altogether is opaque.
True.
Correct. What sport does Lyle Foster play for South Africa?
Rugby.
Soccer. Which river flows into the Orange River near Douglas?
She's not the Trans-KK River.
It's the Vaal. Who is Princess
It's the
William's
Vaal.
sister-in-law who lives in the USA?
Is it Beatrice? What's her name?
It's Meghan Markle. How many lines are there in a poem known as a sonnet?
Was it 4?
14. True or false? Ships float higher in cold seas than in warm seas.
False.
It's true. It's true. Hi, yay, yay. Hi, yay, yay. Sandra, do you know how close it was?
Yeah.
Just by one, hey?
One.
Just by
Well
one.
done, Mudisi.
Yeah. Sorry,
Well
Sandra.
done.
Your reign ends. Mudise, yes, indeed, you won, man.
Thank you, Bongs.
Hey, yeah, yeah. Just.
Do or die, Bongs.
Wotla. All right, so you go. Mudise, you are now our reigning brain. So you've won 1,500 Rand, thanks to 702. We're going to call you to play again with John Perlman this afternoon. And if you're still standing after that round, you will be the brain of the day and continue to battle for brilliance.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well done, Mudise. Now, you heard all of that and you think, yeah, you can do it too. Well, for a chance to prove your mental might and to win your share of 130,000 Rand, why don't you go to primemediaplus.com to register, and you could become the brain of 702 and walk away with the ultimate general knowledge prize.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
702 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
Hi, Bongani. I've been listening to the pessimism of everybody that has been interviewed in the Vox Pops. And I'm just so sad for our country. You know, I'm sad that residents have lost so much faith in our government to the extent that they treat, our State of the Nation address as just another 3 hours of lies, to the country. Isn't that sad? Isn't that incredibly sad for the country that we live in? It's really heartbreaking.
Bongani and the listeners, that's so mean from the premier. You can imagine telling us that he goes to the hotel to take a bath. Rona re tla nka kae tšhelete ya di hoteleng re lo hlapa teng. Re hlolo fela ko ya mo Tantaning re lo hlapa teng. Yena o tlo re bolela ka di hotel. Ah man, how? These people.
Bongani, it's just so early in the morning for us to laugh, but I had to laugh, and it's not a laughing matter. Shame the ANC people, they're out of touch with reality, honestly. Like, how do you make such comments? Didn't you even think about, the after effects of that comment? Shame the ANC. Shame.
Bongani, it's of life. As you put it, Oamu is right. Even if it's paid for, even if it's not. Soft life is being able to do things you wouldn't. Bongani, I worked for 8 weeks in Cape Town. I used to stay at the Airbnb that my company owns. Bongani, that place was beautifully. Yes, I would go in, put my back on that bedroom, go sleep on that bedroom, and then decide, the food, I had living out an allowance of like 600 Rand a day. Can you imagine, Vetu, the cow as in, guys, this of life is soft, But I guess we could call Abu Ket Matlala to explain further. This is KG, but not start the clock.
KG, but not start the clock. I think it is sad that South Africans... Cynical is not really even the word. It's just living with continued disappointment, right? Because so many promises have been made over such a long period of time that people think, yada, yada, fish paste, more of the same. The Premier, of course, has since issued an apology. Clement desperately trying to get him on his show coming up between 9 and 12. And in that apology, he acknowledges that the statement he made in reference to a hotel, and this is the part that gets me, may have been interpreted in a manner that suggested the impact of the water challenge differs based on one's position in society. This was never his intention. So I thought it's worth replaying that clip, because yesterday, of course, following the various marches out in Gauteng, they came out in full force, didn't they? The Water and Sanitation Minister, Phemi Majodina, the Deputy David Mahlobo, the Premier of Gauteng, Panyaza Lesufi, the Mayor Dada Morero, they all held a media briefing on the water crisis. And it was at that point that this is what the Premier had to say.
In some instances, I had to go to a certain hotel so that I have to go to my commitments. We also go through the same inconveniences like any other person. There's no special water or a special pipe that is designed to service other people and not service other people. Our families, our relatives, ourselves, our constituencies, they suffer the same pain. We don't have water when communities don't have water. But what we need to do, we've got the responsibility to fix the problem. We are coming to you that the problem is almost fixed.
Yeah, ne? And then he says he didn't mean it. He may have been interpreted to say what he didn't. He meant it, man. Because, again, until you and I can just show up at a hotel and say, I'm only here for a shower because I don't have water. You know what Luther says there? He said, out of my head, I say the things that I say, but I don't mean it. Maybe the Premier didn't mean it, hey? Maybe he just says the things that he says out of his head. And therefore, because he doesn't mean it, he doesn't have time to check how they might land. But I really didn't mean it. It's 9 o'clock.
This is EWN.
I'm Sfiso Zulu. Residents in the south of Johannesburg are picketing this morning demanding for water to be restored. People in Omondi, Winchester and Ground Gardens say they've been without supply for weeks now. Gauteng is the latest province to suffer severe supply shortages